Alrighty, welcome back everybody to our latest live stream. Hope everybody's having a good afternoon so far. We do have a lot of severe weather to get to in this live stream. It is going to be a very active afternoon, though there's only a slight risk of severe weather. This is probably going to play out more as if it's an enhanced risk of severe weather with how many storms we're going to see today. So I'll give you the latest breakdown and everything that's happening right now and what will be happening over the next several hours, as we already have 2 tornado warnings on the map. I'll go over here in just a moment. Before we get too far into this, make sure to hit the like button down below so this gets out to more people, and as well as make sure you're subscribed to the channel and click the bell icon down below. All right, let's begin with the tornado warnings that we have ongoing. We have one currently in western Illinois that we need to break down that is kind of to the south of Davenport. This is going to be approaching areas near Fort Madison, La Harpin, as well as Lomax over the next several minutes. Let's go over to the velocities and check those out. This storm had a bit more rotation near the beginning of the supercell, but it does seem like at this point it is much broader rotation, which is good news. A lot of the storms that we're going to see today will likely be a bit more on the brief side of things. I know last night we had several tornadoes that were on the ground for several minutes. I think today we're looking at more of a tornado risk that'll probably be a bit more brief, maybe about at maximum a 5-minute tornado on the ground. That's kind of what I think is going to happen today. But for right now, there is some broad rotation in this storm south of Fort Madison. This will be moving off to the north and east. Again, this is an ongoing tornado warning, so if you're anywhere in this pink box, you're going to want to make sure you're getting to your safe place, away from windows, lowest floor possible, interior room of your home or building. And let's zoom out a little bit more. We do have a couple of other severe thunderstorm warnings outside of this, one of which is west of Galesburg, Illinois. This is a line of storms that's developing, or more of a cluster. This will be approaching areas like Davenport and back through Queenie soon. These storms will be mainly producing large hail and damaging winds, but a tornado risk does exist. You might notice there is a tornado watch in effect for those in southern and even into central sections of Wisconsin, and as well as central and northern Illinois. This is ahead of the threat for tornadoes today. There could be a few tornadoes across this region, so make sure if you're anywhere in this area, you have a tornado action plan in place. This tornado watch goes for about 5.5 more hours, goes until 8 o'clock tonight Central Time. Hail up to the size of hen eggs is possible, damaging winds up to 75 miles per hour, and again, a few tornadoes will be possible as well. Chicago, Milwaukee, Rockford, all these areas again are included in that tornado watch. For those closer to Chicago and Milwaukee, I would expect storms to probably be a bit more likely there, closer to 4 to 6 o'clock tonight. Further down to the south, we have some storms ongoing in Missouri. None of these are tornado warned. This cell in particular actually had some rotation earlier. This has been a long-tracked hailstorm, has produced upwards of upwards of golf ball sized hail, but no longer really producing any rotation. This was a tornado possible storm at one point. It is still producing a lot of hail though, as it goes through Louisiana and eventually into areas into Illinois. So we'll be watching that pretty closely. Another hailstorm ongoing just along Interstate 70, approaching Montgomery City and near Interstate 70. Further down to the south, we have another cluster of storms that has been ongoing for a couple of hours now. This one's east of Springfield, Missouri. This is producing quarter-sized hail, 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. That'll be moving off to the east. We have a couple of other cells that we want to watch out for closely as well, one of which is tornado warned. This has been tornado warned for a good half hour now in southeast Oklahoma. This storm is in a very, very rural area, which is why I haven't really mentioned it right now, and it has not really been that strong in terms of rotation, but it does seem like in the latest scan we're starting to see some rotation kind of coming together again. That's southeast of Albion and about southeast of 271. This will be moving off to the east near 144 and south of 63 in southeast Oklahoma. Again, this is a storm to watch for closely for those ahead of the storm. It will really not be going to many cities or anything like that, so luckily this is in a rural area, but Smithville and just south of Heavener will be in the track of this within the next 30 minutes or so. It's not a very quick moving cell. It's moving at about 20 to 25 miles per hour, so obviously the risk long term is not too concerning for now. Maybe in western Arkansas might be something to watch out for at some point, but for right now it's definitely more of a it still has the potential producing a tornado, but again, it's in a fairly rural area right now. We have another supercell also ongoing. This is going to be to the west of Fort Smith, Arkansas, so in far eastern Oklahoma we have a cell that has been ongoing here for quite a while. This one's producing half-dollar sized hail, and you might notice here that is your hail core just to the south of Interstate 40. It will be approaching areas like Sally saw in the next 30 to 45 minutes, so just make sure you're staying away from windows with this cell as it continues to move off to the north and northeast. Further down to the south, we also have actually multiple supercells that have been firing up across Texas. We need to get to some of these are all just developing now. A brand new upgrade to the warning in Fannin County. This is in northeastern North Texas. Golf ball sized hail is possible back over near Bonham and southwest of Honey Grove. This is again producing golf ball sized hail. And your hail core is going to be located here just to the south of Bonham, northeast of Leonard, moving off to the east-northeast. It'll be eventually going towards Paris, Texas. So you're going to want to make sure that you are staying away from windows. Damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour is also possible. Another severe storm that has been warned just a few moments ago. This is to the east-northeast of Dallas and Rose City. For Hunt County, Collin County, Dallas County, and Rockwall County, you are all included in this severe thunderstorm warning. That's for 60 mile per hour damaging winds and half-dollar sized hail. New cell that just formed literally over the last 10 minutes. This is rapidly developed. This is near Cleburne and Alvarado. This is producing 60 mile per hour damaging winds, and as well as quarter-sized hail moving down to the east-southeast. Further down to the south near Hamilton, we have a storm that is rapidly intensifying here as well. And this is one's also producing half-dollar sized hail and 60 mile per hour damaging winds. We also have another severe thunderstorm watch that was literally just issued like within the last 5 minutes. This is for San Antonio, Austin, near San Angelo, and Interstate 10, all included in this brand new severe thunderstorm watch until 10 o'clock tonight. And you might be shocked, but yes, this is all watches up and down from Wisconsin into Texas. It is a lot of severe thunderstorm watches and also that one tornado watch. There's gonna be a lot of stuff to watch today, especially back up in the Midwest where that tornado risk is actually increased. If you've not already seen, the Storm Prediction Center did upgrade the risk of severe weather in terms of the tornado risk across the Midwest. They did introduce a 5% risk area that does include areas near Milwaukee. Chicago is not included, but you're kind of on the cusp of it. Rockford, Madison, LaSalle, as well as Peoria, those areas are all included in a brand new upgrade to a 5% probability within a 25-mile radius of a tornado. Elsewhere, there's a 2% probability within a 25-mile radius of a tornado, and that's overall a very low threat. When we're looking at that brown shaded region, we classify that as a low threat. Once we get to the yellow shaded region, which is that 10% probability, it's technically a medium threat. That's kind of how it goes. And then red and anything above that usually is a high threat. So overall, the threat is low today, but it's definitely not zero. The environment is very well ripe for potentially at least a few tornadoes across this tornado watch that we have today. Back over near Fort Madison, this is the latest update on this tornado warning. Again, the rotation's been very broad over the last several minutes. Let's go back over to the storm relative velocities. And yeah, again, you can see there's not a whole lot of rotation here. We don't have any reds and greens mixing together here. And overall, this is a storm that I'm assuming will probably get dropped on that tornado warning because I'm not seeing anything left remaining in this supercell when it comes to rotation, which is good news, at least at the lower levels. There might be some upper level rotation, but obviously not very concerning at this time. We do have another cell just to the south of Macomb. Has some broad rotation approaching Augusta, very broad, very large area of rotation as well. So I'll have to watch this cell quite closely. This is the current supercell. So again, it is producing some large hail for sure. That is all approaching Augusta and Plymouth over the next several minutes. Further down to the south, we have plenty of severe thunderstorm warnings, and then we're going to go back down to DFW real quick. Again, we do have a golf ball sized hailstorm that has just formed near Fannin County. So if you know anybody in Fannin County, which I have a lot of North Texas viewers, if you know anybody in this area, make sure that they are staying away from windows, lowest floor possible. Again, that is the potential for golf ball sized hail. And finally, a reminder, if you're just tuning in, make sure to like the stream. Helps get this out to more people that are in the track of these severe storms. All right, just posting that. Cool. How's everybody doing? Welcome, welcome. Again, we'll be live here for the next, probably at least several hours. I'm going to try to be live as long as possible. Again, I still don't have an office chair. I'll have one in May. But yeah, again, we have a office chair dilemma still. All right, we're going to go back over to, we're going to go back to Missouri. I do want to check out the storms that are west of St. Louis. I know we have some St. Louis viewers, and you're probably wondering, are we going to see any severe weather? Most of the storms out there right now are quarter-sized hail and 60 mile per hour damaging winds. These will likely strengthen as they move off to the east, and this is something that we need to watch for kind of closely here. Not strong rotation by any means. We're not really looking at a rotating supercell at the lower levels, at least according to radar here near Mountainsburg as well as Wellsville, but there is some counterclockwise spin that we're watching for the potential for maybe something to develop here at some point down the road. Very broad, very weak rotation right now, but this definitely has the potential of developing into something. This is a bit of a loop as well. Gives you an idea of what we're looking at here. So it is trying to develop a little bit. This is the last like 30 minutes. So yeah, again, you can see a little bit of spin on that, but nothing too crazy yet. Again, we do have a concern for an isolated tornado risk. I'm still the most concerned about the hail risk today, and that's really why, if I don't know if the Storm Prediction Center at 3 o'clock will issue an enhanced risk of severe weather, but if they do, it would probably be for large hail, because large hail is definitely going to be the biggest concern out of these storms today. The lapse rates are very steep today, which means the temperature as we go into the atmosphere is declining at a pretty rapid rate, and that essentially will help to increase the hail threat. And the temperatures near the surface are a little bit cooler as well. That'll kind of help to keep hailstones a little bit larger when they reach the surface as well. And the large to very large hail threat is primarily going to be back down in Texas. This is the current hail risk for today. Again, it's a 15% probability literally from Wisconsin into Texas. I've never seen such a thin and large area for a severe weather threat quite like this when it comes to just a slight risk of severe weather. But the significant hail threat is what we need to really be concerned about, especially across areas in central and southern Texas. So San Antonio, just southeast of Dallas, back through Waco and Austin. Definitely gonna be something to watch here for fairly closely for that hail threat. Let's go back to the tornado warning in Oklahoma. This is about to expire, but we'll see if there's anything remaining on this cell. Again, this has been a tornado warning cell for a good 45 minutes now, and this is the rotation. Again, it's not really weak yet. It's still kind of there. There's some rotation remaining. This is the winds, again, going towards the radar, and here are your winds going away from the radar. This is your rotation right now. It's not strong, tight, and confined, but there is definitely some moderate rotation here. We very well could see a tornado drop at any time. This will continue to move off to the east through fairly rural areas near 144 and is going towards Route 259 here in southeast Oklahoma. This is southeast of Albion, and it will be moving off to the east. But again, something to watch for. There is definitely some rotation there. Again, it's not strong, tight, and confined, but it will be something to watch out for going towards Smithville. Smithville's the main location included in the track of that storm over the next little while. Back west of Fort Smith, this is the storm that is producing $half sized hail and really not any damaging winds with this. Hail core is located right here. That's going to be south of Interstate 40, approaching areas near Vian and maybe Sally Saw in the next 30 minutes. So watch out for that storm if you're back over in eastern Oklahoma. Also, update on the tornado warning in Iowa. It is Iowa and Illinois. It's technically mainly in Illinois right now. It's still producing $half sized hail. Radar indicated rotation has not been canceled though yet by the storm or by the National Weather Service. They've not yet canceled that tornado warning. Just an FYI. I'm going to see if we have any reports coming in on any of these storms quite yet. All right, the Storm Prediction Center actually already issued their latest outlook. They actually issued it 10 minutes ago. I did not realize that. But they have not changed anything on this outlook. The latest outlook from the Storm Prediction Center, no changes to the risk of severe weather. It's still a slight risk of severe weather across the board. I honestly still think this is going to play out to... I won't say it's going to play out to be an enhanced risk of severe weather, but this will look like an enhanced risk of severe weather when it's all said and done, mainly due to the fact we have a large area where severe storms are happening today. We're going to see severe weather from Wisconsin and potentially into Michigan all the way back through Texas. This is a massive area that we're watching. There are several severe storms already. We currently have a total of 19 warnings across the United States, which out of the total warnings here, 17 of those are severe thunderstorm warnings. 2 of them are tornado warnings right now. So it's a very large area that we're watching today, but no changes to the outlook. The tornado risk has remained the same as well. I wasn't expecting this to change, but the 5% tornado risk does exist across areas in southeast Wisconsin and as well as back through Illinois. And then just to the south of Burlington, this is the other area, again, that we have a tornado warning ongoing. I'm expecting the tornado risk to ramp up closer to 4 to 5 o'clock. I think that's when it starts to peak a bit more back over into areas like central and eastern Illinois. But this cell overall has not had much rotation. We can go back to the velocities here. And overall, not really any rotation left with this one. If anything, it just has some gusty winds, but I'm not seeing anything that's really giving me an idea that we're going to have a tornado with this in the next several minutes. But just stay in shelter if you're in Dallas City, low max and low harp for the next few minutes, just in case. Have your at least practice your tornado safety plan for the next few minutes, just in case something does rapidly intensify, but I'm not expecting much of anything out of this storm, at least for the next few minutes. But just make sure you're staying in your safe place, just in case something does develop there. Warnings near Jefferson City have expired. The only severe thunderstorm warning with this eastern line of storms or cluster of storms back over in eastern Missouri is the one near Middletown. This is for 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds and quarter-sized hail. Also one east of Springfield, and then we have a lot firing up in Dallas. So let's go to the one near Cleburne. Wow, look at this hail core. Latest radar scan here near Grandview. We have a massive hail core heading towards Grandview right now. This storm particularly has the potential for upwards of hen egg sized hail, and I would not rule out it gets upwards of tennis ball sized hail if it's able to intensify with those updrafts being a bit stronger in this area. This one definitely is going to have a bit more of a long lasting updraft. Right here near Grandview. If you're in Grandview, Maypearl, again, anywhere near Interstate 35W, just south of Fort Worth, you're going to want to make sure that you are getting away from windows and on the lowest floor possible. Large to very large hail will be possible as this storm tracks to the east. This will be moving towards Italy, And again, Grandview is going to be in the track of that within the next few minutes. Near Hamilton, Texas, this warning was just upgraded to golf ball sized hail as well. This one's going to be back near Hamilton going towards Gatesville in southwestern North Texas. And again, we have another warning just to the east of Dallas now. This was in Dallas County. Now it's tracking into Rockwall County and eventually into Hunt County. Southeast Collin County included in this severe thunderstorm warning for 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds and half-dollar sized hail. Golf ball sized hail still ongoing in Fannin County in North Texas. I'm trying to figure out what cell we want to kind of stay on here. We're probably going to stay on the ones down here in North Texas for now. We'll watch the other ones up to the north. Here's the latest radar scan, by the way. These radar scans are going like every minute or two right now in DFW. Hail core was kind of spiked there for a second, has shrunk just a little bit, but we're still watching for some large to potentially very large hail near Grandview. That'll be approaching Maypearl within the next 30 minutes. So make sure you're staying away from windows, lowest floor possible, interior room of your home or building. We do have reports out of Rockwall of quarter-sized hail. That's the storm east of Dallas. This storm in particular has not had any reports yet. We've had ping pong ball-sized hail reported near Hamilton, Texas. That's that southwesterly storm that I just showed you moments ago. So again, we have multiple severe storms out here. The main ones that we're watching closest for like long-term development are going to be the ones down here just south of Interstate 20. So this one right here, for example, near Cleburne, another one near Gatesville. These have more long-term potential for some significant hailstones. And also the ones back even just to the east of Dallas, they definitely have a risk for some large hail, but probably not getting too far above hen egg sized hail is kind of my expectation with those. This watch in particular, by the way, for those in eastern North Texas, southern North Texas, back through northwest Louisiana and southwest Arkansas, this watch goes until 9 o'clock Central Time. Up to tennis ball sized hail, 70-mile-per-hour damaging winds are the main concerns. And then we have another watch down in southern Texas that goes until 10 o'clock tonight. And the one for those in Arkansas and eastern Oklahoma, this one goes until 9 o'clock as well. This is for hen egg sized hail, 65-mile-per-hour damaging winds, and this entire region has an isolated tornado risk. It's very, very isolated. I'm not expecting anything out of the ordinary across this region today. I know what we had last night was absolutely insane. Today, I'm not really expecting too much of anything too crazy when it comes to the tornado risk. Maybe an isolated tornado or two. They should, for the most part, be brief. The tornado risk, though, does increase the further north you go, closer to the warm front, back near Chicago and Milwaukee, Peoria. These areas until 8 o'clock tonight are under a tornado watch. We have a tornado warning ongoing, but I've mentioned it does not seem to be very impressive right now. And these storms, though, will really start to crank up around 4 to 5 o'clock with an increased tornado risk this evening. So we'll be watching for that threat pretty closely. Also, we've had some quarter-sized hail being reported out of Bonham, Texas. Just a little heads up there. New severe thunderstorm warning was issued for the very far eastern county here of Oklahoma. This is a storm that was tornado warned, I believe. Let's see if there's a tornado possible. No, there's no longer a tornado possible here. But this is a storm that has had some rotation, but no longer is on a tornado possible. This is the current look at the velocities. Still pretty impressive supercell. I mean, we're looking at still very strong winds here. Rotation, or at least the velocities going away from the radar, aren't overly strong. They're much stronger going towards the radar right now. And we definitely have some strong winds. That's without a doubt. We're looking at 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds that will be approaching areas on the northern side of Smithville near 144. As well as 259, so just make sure you're staying away from windows as that approaches. But yeah, that's really the main storm right now, producing some pretty hefty damaging winds. Probably one of the stronger rotating supercells, to be honest with you right now. There aren't a whole lot of supercells that are rotating to great lengths right now, like what we saw last night. If you saw last night's supercells, they were absolutely insane. I'll actually show you a photo of one. We have a I actually got a visual of the tornado near Pink last night. I was actually watching on radar all night. This is one of them here near Pink last night. This was an insane tornado warned storm, a really strong inflow, debris ball, classic hook echo. I mean, this is literally classic stuff that we saw last night. This is at 8:55, by the way, last night. That's after sunset, and we had a tornado on the ground. I think Reed Timmer was chasing the one back near Cole, Texas. I was watching his entire live stream. He was back over in Cole, Texas. That's the one I was watching most of the time, but that one that developed after sunset, very dangerous stuff. We had a lot of tornadoes last night. I heard that there was an EF3 tornado damage confirmed to a home in Cole, Texas. So that's what I've heard so far. I'm not sure about anything else. There's somebody... Yeah, I think that's about it. I don't think we've had any other confirmations yet of tornado risks. So, or tornado ratings, I mean. So that was the most recent rating that we had. Little update from the Weather Prediction Center for those in southern Missouri, Arkansas, and northeast Texas. Hourly rainfall rates as high as 1 to 2 inches per hour will occur over the next few hours, and that means that the rainfall totals could get upwards of 2 to 3 inches. So, little update there. Ping pong ball sized hail was confirmed near Hamilton, by the way. I did mention that about 5 minutes ago, but that storm has produced a threat for some pretty significant hail so far, and those storms down in North Texas are actually forming very quickly. Little interesting storm here near New Florence. This is not warned right now. I'm just curious to look at the velocities. Yeah, so this storm here, just south of New Florence, south of Interstate 70, little hook kind of trying to form here, baby hook I would call it, has a little bit of rotation, very weak inflow right now, but there's a pretty defined area where it can get an inflow growing, so I'll have to watch that cell. This is a discrete cell out in front of the cluster of storms, and any cells that become discrete today will pose the greatest threat for a tornado risk, which none of these right now, other than that one little cell there, west of St. Louis, none of these are right now really discrete. The only one that is semi-discrete is near Interstate 70. And then the storms back up here are actually getting upgraded. Let's go up to the ones in western Illinois. Near Macomb, this storm is now upgraded to ping pong ball sized hail. Very large hail cores developing near Augusta. This has a bit more of a concern for large to very large hail as it continues to march to the north and northeast. This is a storm that's not really rotating a whole lot right now. There is some upper level rotation from the last time I checked, but it is moving up to the northeast towards Macomb and Industry, going towards Bushnell. So again, if you're in the track of this storm, make sure you're getting your car into your garage. Take those proper precautions. If you have plants, anything like that, you're going to want to make sure that you take those inside as well, because this is definitely going to be a pretty nasty storm as it moves off to the east. Another warning just popped up for south of Davenport. There's actually a tornado possible label on this storm. Let's investigate this a little bit further. We have a little bit, it looks like we have some kinks kind of developing in this line, which is kind of something that we have to be watching for a bit more closely as these storms move towards areas like Chicago and Milwaukee, because the threat of maybe a tornado or two will increase a bit. Broad rotation right now located near Aledo. Nothing concerning. Definitely not a tornado warned type storm, but there is a tornado possible label. So some broad rotation near Aledo, Mathersville, as well as Viola. Sherrard and New Windsor will be in the track of this eventually, so we'll be watching that storm as it moves off to the east. Tornado warning, I believe, I don't know if it's still ongoing, because these do not end up, like, if the tornado warning gets canceled, it doesn't show on my radar, but I'm pretty sure we're really not looking at anything too crazy with this one anymore. Let's go to the velocities one last time. This one is definitely weakened, and yeah, we're really just looking at wind right now, if anything. Gusty winds near Lomax and La Harpe. Stay in your safe place for the next 5 minutes until the warning's lifted, but overall, I do think that warning is probably going to just be let to expire. Otherwise, it'll just be canceled. So that's what we're looking at with that storm. Again, that is we're right now in western Illinois. All right, that's the latest update on those warnings. Yeah, so back over in North Texas, I know I have some viewers in North Texas. The clouds are building up very quickly. The cap is obviously gone in North Texas. I know I have a lot of North Texas viewers. Back down in North Texas, the cap is gone. So storms are going to be firing up over the next several hours. The cap actually became a bit weaker, it weakened quicker than I was expecting. And last night, that happened in Oklahoma. The cap weakened a lot quicker than what was forecasted. And that led to supercells upon supercells, and a lot of those produced really dangerous tornadoes. But overall, the storms down here in North Texas, they're developing right along a frontal boundary, along that dry line. And what these are going to do is produce more of a hail threat and damaging winds. I do not anticipate much of a tornado risk with these storms. There might be an isolated tornado, but overall, the tornado risk should remain very low. Very, very broad rotation near Grandview. Back near Rockwall, I'm not looking at any rotation here. It's more of a hail threat right now. That's near Rockwall, Rose City, and Quinlan. And then further down to the south near Hamilton, this storm is producing golf ball sized hail. This one is a bit more concerning, again, for long-term potential for hail. This one probably will become a bit more of a large to very large hailstorm as it approaches areas near Gatesville, maybe going towards Waco in the next hour or so. This is probably a more concerning storm long-term. This is the region down anywhere basically south of Interstate 20. This area has the greatest concern, not really here, but greatest concern down here for a large to very large hail threat will exist just south of Dallas. That's where the lapse rates are the steepest, and overall the environment is much more ripe for the potential for some significant hail. Tornadoes, though, again, very low chance down that direction. All right, we're going to stay on the storms in DFW for a second. Let me read chat. I have not looked at chat at all since I started streaming. Hope everybody's doing well this afternoon. Welcome, welcome. I'll be answering questions, by the way, in just a moment. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything here. Thank you, David, for becoming a Storm Chaser member. I appreciate it. Welcome. Sorry, that happened at the very beginning. My chat going this fast, or am I just, was I tabbed out for too long? I think I have to slow down chat a little bit here. Usually the delay is a little bit higher. Let me up the delay a little bit. All right, there we go. How's it going, Rainy? Welcome back. Rockford, Illinois is in the track of severe weather today. That area, again, has an increased tornado risk. It's not high. It's on the low end, but you have the high. Basically, anywhere in there in central Illinois has the greatest chance for a tornado risk. Right now, where the tornado watch is in, this is the area that you need to be watching for the threat for a tornado or two. Again, make sure you have a safety plan in place today because there very well could be a couple of tornado warnings. There already has been one. I do anticipate more of a tornado risk to increase across this region later this afternoon, probably closer to 4 to 5 o'clock is when I think that tornado risk begins to increase a bit more here across eastern sections of Illinois back through Wisconsin. So these will definitely be the areas for a bit more of a higher tornado risk. But again, it's not high. I say higher tornado risk. It's just in comparison to other areas, right? Because the overall tornado risk today is low. It's not that high. It's a 2%. It's really, we're in a very low risk overall. The low risk, it's like slightly higher across areas in southern Wisconsin back through Illinois. And again, this is the Storm Prediction Center's outlook on the tornado risk. We go from basically very low across areas in the green shaded region, so very low, I put an R, and then this is your low area, so there's a low threat for a tornado, but you want to make sure, again, you have a safety plan in place. That means, you know, a interior room of your home or building, away from windows, lowest floor possible, all that sort of stuff. If you don't have a room away from windows, a bathroom, a tub is always a really good idea. But again, this is the area that we have a slightly higher tornado risk today. The shear is a little bit higher, and yeah, it's really just going to create a threat for maybe an isolated tornado or two across this region. But overall, the tornado risk does exist across a super large area. It's just, it's overall very, very low today, which is great news. Hail threat is definitely up there. We have a lot of hailstorms already ongoing. A lot of them in North Texas. They have remained fairly isolated so far in nature, but they are expected to become a bit more scattered over the next few hours. And we have a lot of reports out of these 4 supercells in North Texas. They are producing some hail right now, so that threat is increasing. All right, we're going to go over to here. How's it going, Luna? And further reminder, if you're just tuning in, make sure to hit the like button down below. It helps get this out to more people that are in the track of the severe weather, and it is, again, free to do. And also make sure to subscribe down below. We have a report of a rotating wall cloud in Littleton, Illinois. I do have to figure out where Littleton, Illinois is. It's a very small town. Littleton, Illinois, we do have a report now of a rotating wall cloud. That's actually what the supercell we're on right now. This one has a rotating wall cloud, and this is a cell I mentioned about 10 minutes ago or so. There was some rotation attempting to develop, but this is a cell that is currently producing a potential wall cloud. So something to watch out for would be the threat for maybe a tornado risk with this as it continues to move off to the north and northeast. This is the velocities right now. Again, rotation near the surface is broad. When you see this gray color in between the greens and reds near where that hook would be and where the tornado would be located, that indicates a bit more broad rotation. So we're looking at broad rotation near Littleton, moving towards industry, going to be moving off to the north and east over the next little while. And this is the reflectivity. Again, we're looking at a large hail core right now near industry. It'll be moving towards Macomb, as well as 136. Marietta will be in the track of this eventually as well. So just make sure you're staying away from windows, lowest floor possible, in an interior room of your home or building. And the correlation coefficient, by the way, believe it or not, is picking up on the hail. So you see that there. Usually when we use the correlation coefficient, we're looking for debris being lifted up by a tornado. In this case, it's actually showing the hail that's falling. There's most likely a lot of hail falling near 101 in Littleton. So yeah, if you're anywhere in this area, you're going to want to make sure, again, you're staying away from windows. And if you're in the track of this long term, anywhere here in Western Illinois, make sure you're protecting your vehicle. And I recommend anybody in any of these severe thunderstorm watches or even in the tornado watch, you make sure to take the proper precautions now. Some of those include, you know, covering plants over, taking umbrellas down on your patio furniture, because those umbrellas go flying when there's damaging winds. Additionally, cover your vehicle if you're able to put it into a garage. But yeah, those are like the main things that you need to do before these storms do roll in, and put a tornado safety plan in place, just in case you end up seeing a tornado at some point today, which again, the threat is low today. We do have a new... Never mind, we do not have a new warning. We have an update, though, on a warning over in Honey Grove, Windham, Dodge City, Gober, and Bailey, Texas. This is going to be in northeastern North Texas. I think it's still Fannin County. Yeah, it's Fannin County. This is for golf ball-sized hail still. and 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. The storms down there are pretty impressive right now. North Texas storms. Next radar scan comes in a second on this, so we'll stay on this cell for a second. This one, again, has a bit more of a tornado risk going over the next little while, so. Any concerns for Grand Rapids, Michigan? No, I do not. Yes, Love, I did. Yeah, I saw Reed's. I was watching Reed's live stream from pretty much the very beginning. Yeah, it was crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Can't lie, my heart dropped when I saw him right next to a tornado. It was like unbelievable. It was unbelievable what happened yesterday. Like literally, you know, I usually don't downplay severe weather events by any means. And I wasn't downplaying yesterday's event. I was just saying like the threat of severe weather was going to be a bit lower in the southern plains because of the cap. But to be honest with you, the cap was overcome so fast. And I'm not even kidding. Like I was not expecting the cap to be overcome at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Like no joke. Like that happened a lot faster than expected. The temperatures aloft cooled down much faster than forecasted. That's without a doubt. I mean, really, the difference between the cap being overcome at 4 o'clock and 7 o'clock, which 7 o'clock is kind of when I thought the cap would be overcome if it were to, is a massive difference. Because if that happened at 7 o'clock, we probably would only be talking about maybe one tornado, and it probably would have not been strong or long track. So yeah, it was just unbelievable what we saw yesterday in Oklahoma. Unbelievable. Definitely not something that I expected. I don't think really anybody expected it to that magnitude of things, because it was historic to say the least. I mean, that was an unbelievable. It was a small area, but it was a tornado outbreak there for a good few hours across areas in Oklahoma. Unbelievable stuff. Grandview storm is starting to weaken a bit. Still quarter-sized hail right now. We did have quarter-sized hail reported near Highway 4. Storm near Hamilton is still producing some hail upwards of golf ball size. And then the storm back up here east of Dallas is producing up to half-dollar sized hail. Rockwall is the main area seeing hail right now. That'll continue to move off to the east. And then Honeygrove is the area that we're still watching for a golf ball sized hailstorm and 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. If you are in Paris, Texas, or you know any friends or family in Paris, Texas, give them a little heads up. There's a hailstorm heading that direction. Overall, not a whole lot of rotation here. It's more of a hail concern. And all these storms right now in North Texas, they're much more of a hail concern than a tornado risk. But we will still be watching for maybe an isolated tornado over the next hour or two. Back over near Fort Smith, we have a hailstorm just to the west of there that is producing half-dollar sized hail. That is now north of Sally Saw and north of Interstate 40. And the other cell that was tornado warned, our first tornado warning of technically today, south of Heavener, that storm is now becoming much more of just a cluster, which means a hail threat and damaging wind threat will be mainly what we're watching here. The tornado risk has weakened substantially with this particular cell that is moving now into Oklahoma, or not Oklahoma, into Arkansas within the next 15 to 20 minutes. Back to the east of Springfield, we also have a severe thunderstorm warning. This is south of Waynesville. This is the cluster of storms that moved through Springfield not too long ago. This storm is producing quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds, and it will continue to move off to the east over the next little while. Jefferson City storm, that is, again, west of St. Louis, is not warned right now, but I would not be surprised if we get a warning on this at some point shortly. This has probably at least a little bit of quarter-sized hail embedded in it. We have another cell near Wellsville in Missouri producing quarter-sized hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds, and the other one near Louisiana is producing these same threats. And we are still watching the main supercell that we'll have to be watching here over the next little while will be the one near Industry. And you can actually see here, this is the hail core. The reflectivity is even picking up on the hail core going down to the south there. So there is definitely a pretty large hail core here near Industry. I would not be surprised if we're talking upwards of hen egg sized hail here. This is the velocities. We also have potentially some very strong winds as well. This is a supercell that is rapidly intensifying across areas in western Illinois. Again, near Industry, very dangerous supercell moving off to the north and northeast. And a tornado is possible with this storm at some point down the road. So make sure that you are staying away from windows, lowest floor possible, interior room of your home or building. This cell is definitely becoming a bit more concerning right now. All right. Heavener, thank you, Kat. Or Heavener. Heavener or Heavener? One or two. I can almost assure you, you're not seeing a wall cloud from St. Louis. It's probably just cumulonimbus clouds. Wall clouds are, I mean, you can technically see them from pretty far away, but, you know, highly doubt you're seeing wall clouds from that far away. Because that storm is a good solid 50 miles, I think, west of St. Louis right now. We do have a new warning near Davenport. Let's hop over to that. I believe, yeah, there's a brand new severe thunderstorm warning just southeast of Davenport. This is for quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. A tornado is going to be possible with this storm at this point. At least there's a label, which means tornado possible. Again, there's not a whole lot of rotation here. Let's go over to the little loop here of the velocities. I'm going to just check out and see if we have anything really developing here in the rotation department. Yeah, I'm not really seeing anything in particular. The only area of very broad rotation that I'm seeing is back near Reynolds. But even that doesn't seem to be very impressive. That's not even really where rotation would be subsiding. The rotation, if there was to be any with this cell, would be back here near southwest of Sherrard. This is the velocities again. So yeah, not really any rotation right now. There is a tornado possible label, and if it's able to get its act together, mature a bit, and maybe become a bit more discreet, then it very well could maybe get a bit of an inflow as it moves towards Cambridge and eventually towards Atkinson and Interstate 80, and then it might produce some sort of tornado risk, but for right now, it's definitely more of a hail concern and damaging winds. Again, we do have a little bit of something trying to develop. Nothing that's organized at this point, but if you're in Andover, Orion, or anywhere near Genoso, Atkinson, just keep a close eye to the radar as well as to the skies if you're anywhere in those areas, because this storm might potentially produce something down the road. Again, a more favorable environment is going to be entered here pretty soon. Really where the environment becomes the most favorable for a low-end threat of a tornado is near Interstate 39. So that's where the threat really becomes a bit higher, but overall the threat will stay, I wouldn't say like very low, but it will stay low for the afternoon. It's not really at a very low or 0 point at this point. This is the storm near Littleton. Again, this has a rotating wall cloud. Rotation is, at this point, not like strong and confined, but there is definitely some moderate rotation beginning to kind of develop on this storm near Industry, moving off to the north and east. Large hail core out also, so this is producing hail maybe upwards of hen egg sized. So very large hail potential does exist with this cell. I'm going to see if we have any reports on this cell. One moment. And a friendly reminder, if you're just tuning in, make sure to like the stream. Helps get this out to more people. Also, make sure to subscribe down below. We're almost to 50,000 subscribers, by the way, which is crazy. Yeah, so the storm right now near Littleton is the one that's producing a wall cloud. Again, we do not have any sort of new information on this. At this point, the radar at least is showing some rotation. It's not strong and confined, but there is some rotation right now located near Industry, moving again off to the north and east towards Table Grove in the next little while. Let me build a little track on this storm so you have an idea of where this is actually going to be heading. Because we can do that. So we can put tracks on these storms. Which is not probably going to be big enough. Let me make a bigger track here. There we go. I'll put like a little bit more of a wide cone on this. So this storm in particular will be moving probably towards Peoria. We're going to put it right about here. I'm trying to do it like the exact degree angle here. All right, we'll do that. So here's the current timing. It'll be going towards areas like Canton and Peoria over the next little while. Timing is on the left side of your screen for this particular supercell. So Macomb at 312, Canton 406, which Macomb's actually already getting hit by this, so you don't really have, or you're kind of on the northern side of this. You won't get hit directly, it looks like, at least right now, by the supercell. Also, we've just gotten upgraded. We are now onto tennis ball. I repeat, tennis ball sized hail is now possible with this supercell. Yes, tennis ball sized hail is now possible near Littleton, and that's moving off to the north and east. And the hail core is right here, by the way, near Industry. So this warning just got upgraded to tennis ball sized hail. It's moving off to the east, northeast, going towards Table Grove. I'm going to take off the timing. That's what we're looking at there. So large to very large hail right now falling near Industry. We'll go back to the tornado possible label. But yeah, again, that is what we're seeing right now is the potential for upwards of tennis ball sized hail near Industry. It's a pretty nasty supercell. It also has some rotation, and this has the risk for a tornado at some point down the road. Also, for those in Henry County, the storm south of Davenport, the warning just got upgraded to golf ball sized hail. A little heads up there. There's also a new warning for Paris, Texas, and many other areas there. So yeah, Paris, Texas just got included into a new severe thunderstorm warning. That's the latest on that. But again, this storm right now is producing up to tennis ball sized hail. The most recent warning, I'm not sure if this was a delayed upgrade, but this warning here is now warned for golf ball sized hail. And again, there is a tornado possible label on this. But again, the hail core is right now located in your industry. Regardless of it being tennis ball or golf ball sized hail, you do want to make sure that you are staying away from windows and on the lowest floor possible and in an interior room of your home or building. This is going to be in McDonald County. I don't know how to say that name, but that's the county that this new warning has just been put into, and this warning goes until 3:45. This storm's moving off to the northeast. This is a little loop on the supercell. This supercell's been pretty impressive. Pretty impressive supercell so far. Philadelphia, I have absolutely no clue what that radar is. I'm not gonna lie. Tucker, are you here? I haven't seen you. Hamilton, Texas storm appears to have a concerning rotation. The Hamilton storm. Let me look. It might be hail. I'm looking at my phone because this storm is a bit more concerning right now. This is on a 1 hour loop. I put this on a 30-minute loop and it went to like 1 hour. There we go. Hamilton does not have any really concerning features right now, at least from that. Right, let me check the other one. Yeah, it's not concerning right now. If anything, it's very broad rotation, but I'm guessing it's more of a hail thing right now. It's definitely more of a hailstorm near Hamilton. There's a new storm that just formed in Mesquite, Texas. That's producing some pretty large hail right now, possibly around $quarter to $half sized. We do have reports of dime-sized hail near Mesquite. That's moving off to the east. Again, there's another one over near Honeygrove. Okay. How's it going, Tracy? All right, let me go over to Twitter real quick. Now, if you're just tuning in, we have a large area that we're watching for severe weather today. Again, there is a ton, I literally mean a ton of people being impacted by severe weather today. We have a tornado watch back up in the Midwest. We have severe thunderstorm watches extending from Illinois all the way back into Texas. It is a very large area today, and this is probably one of those, I kind of call these events sleeper events where people aren't really like, you know, going too crazy about talking about these events, because this event in particular has the threat of at least some scattered damaging winds and hail and maybe a couple of tornadoes, but it is a very large area that we're watching today. It's not like a confined slight risk of severe weather. The slight risk extends literally from Wisconsin back into Texas. It is a huge area. So if you know any friends or family in any of these watches, just make sure you give them a little call and make sure that they are prepared for the storms today. Again, good precautions you can take is taking down your patio furniture, or any patio umbrellas. I mean, you don't have to take down your furniture, but you know, if you have a patio umbrella, for example, that's still up, make sure you take that down. Cover plants, bring your car into your garage or cover it over. Those are some good precautions. If you have trampolines, it's a good idea to probably at least hatch them down or, you know, take them down. Wind gusts upwards of 60 to 65 miles per hour will be possible today. We have some new hail reports just east of Dallas, a new one near Rockwall of ping pong ball sized hail. That's a new update there. Thank you, Nails, for the $10 super chat. I think I missed that. Thank you, Nails, for the $10 super chat. I have a A1 mom with Parkinson's. How Plainfield, Illinois evening look? Let me check that out. I appreciate the $10 super chat. Sorry she has that. Plainfield's main threat will be damaging winds and possibly some hail, but the tornado risk is slightly higher in that area. The threat of severe weather will increase around 4 to 5 o'clock. I think the timing right now, let me just double check. I'm pretty sure it's going to be probably closer to 5 to 6 o'clock tonight for your timing. I'm just going to double check to see if anything changed there. So yeah, the best chance of any storm activity in that area will probably be between 5 to 7. That's your best chance. You might see storms between 4 and 8 o'clock though, so that's right now what we're looking at over that direction. We do have a brand new tornado warning that has now been issued for those in western Illinois. This is a storm that we've been talking about for a while. This storm is really ramping up quickly. Let's go over to the let's go over to here. So again, brand new tornado warning has been issued. Strong rotation is now developing quickly with this supercell near Industry. Again, this will be approaching Table Grove and Vermont here pretty soon. This is in Western Illinois. If you're in this warning, you're going to want to make sure that you are seeking shelter immediately, away from windows, lowest floor possible, and in an interior room of your home or building. So again, a brand new tornado warning. Very strong rotation has been developing over the last several minutes. It'll be approaching Vermont and eventually Table Grove. It's kind of on the cusp here of the county line. This is near 67. Again, we had a reported wall cloud with this about 15 to 20 minutes ago. Obviously, this rotation is ramping up. We are beginning to see a hook echo develop as well in this cell. Let's go over to the reflectivity. You can see that there is now a hook developed with this storm. We have an inflow, very clean inflow into the supercell. Tornado likes to sit usually right about there, and that is where we currently have the strongest rotation. So again, make sure that you are seeking shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible, interior room of your home or building. If you're in an apartment building, try to get to the lowest floor. If you have any friends on the first floor, knock on their door and see if you can shelter with them here for the next few minutes as you ride out the storm. Thank you, Andrew, for the $4.99. You think McHenry, Illinois is going to get hit hard? Let me look where that is. Is that back near Chicago? Yeah, it's just east of there. I don't think you'll get hit, like, hard, but you might get some damaging winds. They'll probably be the main threat there. But maybe an isolated tornado within that area somewhere. Again, that could be anywhere within, like, a 50-mile radius. We do have a brand new severe thunderstorm warning to go along with this tornado warn cell. That is going to be for ping pong ball-sized hail, 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. This is for Lewistown, Vermont, Cuba. St. David is kind of on the cusp of this warning, but you'll be in the track of this pretty soon. This will eventually go towards Canton. This is where the hail is falling, by the way. That's where our largest hail is currently falling near Industry. We do have, obviously, a tornado warning ongoing. This is your hook. That's your inflow. That is where a tornado likes to sit. So we're watching for the threat of a tornado at any time, again, near Industry, Illinois. This is north of Littleton, east of 67. That is where the rotation is currently located. We're going to have a new radar scan coming in here in just a moment to see if there's any new changes with this storm as it continues to move off to the east. Again, very dangerous storm has developed in the last several minutes. Scale on the trampoline meter, it is at a medium today. It's at a medium. Pull it up here. Actually, real quick, before I do that, let's go up to the northerly radar, or let's go up to the Davenport radar site. I don't think we're going to have as good of a view with this one, but I just want to check to see if we have any view on this. It's probably going to pick up a lot more of that hail, which is kind of the issue with this radar site. It's too far away. We're kind of we're a bit of a radar hole. It's not really a bad radar hole, but we're in a little bit of a radar hole. By the way, the storm south of Davenport, this got upgraded to golf ball sized hail, just an FYI. But yeah, this radar site isn't nearly as good. The site that we have right now over in Lincoln is only updating every, I think, about 5 minutes, so it's a little bit of an issue there. All right, here's the latest radar scan. We'll go back over to the velocities. Again, we have a very, very defined supercell here. This is your hail core, very large area. Largest of the hail will be falling near Industry, or at least the highest quantity of hail is falling near Industry right now. Now, we do have a report, actually, of, surprisingly, only about dime-sized hail was reported near Industry. But this is, again, your hook here. This is your inflow going into the storm. Tornado likes to sit right about there in that little couplet. Let's go over to the velocities and see that's comparing. And yeah, you can see here again, there's some rotation. Doesn't seem to be as strong here on the latest radar scan. Let's go over to here. This is a little bit higher up. Look at this. Let's go back here, scan. This is very tight rotation. This is slightly off the surface. Very strong rotation, according to radar, about 6 minutes ago. That was slightly higher up in the atmosphere. Once we go to the latest radar scan, it's not as tight and confined, but there is still some moderate rotation there. That'll be approaching Table Grove eventually. And here's the upper levels as well. This is higher up. So again, we can see here, there's probably at least at the bare minimum some sort of wall cloud or maybe a lowering of a funnel cloud. But I don't think there was any sort of tornado at this point. We had some strong rotation in the upper levels, but near the surface, it's not nearly as strong. This is at the surface at this point. Correlation coefficient. Radar, yeah, that doesn't match up. But this is a pretty impressive supercell here still. And we could see a tornado redevelop with this. Seems like in the latest scan, the rotation's slightly weaker, but don't get too caught off guard with that. Make sure you're still staying in your safe place, because again, we had supercells yesterday that didn't have a whole lot of rotation, and they strengthened out of nowhere. It only took like a minute or two for them to produce a tornado. It can happen in between radar scans. These radar scans are only coming in every like 3 to 4 minutes, so they're not going to be coming in every 10 seconds to give you an idea of every single little time frame of when a tornado may occur. So you're going to want to make sure if you're anywhere in industry, back just west of Table Grove or Vermont, make sure you stay in your safe place as the storm continues to march to the east. Thank you, Dark, for the $5 super chat. Waco area is mainly a large and very large hail threat. That's the main concern back over there in... really anywhere in Texas is that's the main threat. You might see some damaging winds, wouldn't rule out a isolated tornado, but it's a very low threat. All right, here's the latest radar scan. Actually, we're getting a bit more frequent radar scans, it looks like now. Let's go over to the velocities again. Yeah, again, there is still some rotation here. These are the winds going away from the radar. Winds going towards the radar. Again, it's not tight, confined, strong. We're not looking at that right now, but there is still some rotation there. It's in the moderate stage. They'll be approaching Pava as well as Table Grove in the next 15 to 20 minutes. So if you know any friends or family in Table Grove, Vermont, Pava, I don't know how to say that name, but anywhere near 136, any of these areas out in front of it, make sure that you're at least calling them, texting them, make sure they're aware of this tornado warned supercell that is really it's packing a punch right now. I mean, we're looking at a very nasty supercell moving off to the east. Very nasty supercell. And a huge hail core, too. I mean, there's a ton, I mean, a ton of hail falling right now west of Table Grove. We go to the correlation coefficient. It is picking up on the hail. And usually we use the correlation coefficient for measuring debris being lifted up in the atmosphere. In this case, this is just purely hail falling. It picks up hail as well. Any of the red that you're seeing is just rain. So yeah, again, it is showing the hail falling, at least some decent amount of hail falling right now just to the west of Table Grove. So impressive hail core along with this tornado warned cell. Here's the hail radar. You can see that this has been a long tracked hailstorm. Went through Quincy a little while ago, produced some hail around quarter-sized. It produced near nickel-sized hail just west of La Prairie. And now it's going through industry. And then in industry specifically, we had a report of quarter-sized hail from a trained spotter. We had a couple of trained spotters report some hail there, but nothing too crazy so far. The warning was up to tennis ball-sized hail at one point. But it is no longer that high. At the bare minimum, the storm has a lot of wind. It doesn't seem like we have a huge organized hook yet. Again, this is your supercell. This is the hook right here. Usually a tornado, if they want to develop with a supercell like this, they're going to develop there. And where the velocities are right now, if we go back over to the velocities radar, you'll notice that the rotation, or really where the velocities are the strongest, is away from this area. This thing's glitched out. So yeah, you can see here, this is basically where a tornado likes to sit. Highest winds are actually to the north of this area, so that's just east of industry. So highest winds probably around 60 miles per hour near the surface for damaging wind potential, but usually tornadoes like to sit in that little couplet. So be watching that area closely. Again, this is a pretty classic looking supercell, but we have some storms catching up from behind that might kind of limit its threat of producing a tornado at some point down the road as well. All right, we have another radar scan that just came in. We'll check out the velocities in a second. We do have, unless this is the one that we've already seen. All right, we have more warnings down that direction. Tornado warnings now condensed a little bit here. Yeah, we do have a new tornado warning that was just issued up here near Davenport. I was about to say, I didn't see it on the map yet. Back south of Davenport, there is a brand new tornado warning. This is going to be for those in Atkinson, Andover, Cambridge. Make sure that you are seeking shelter immediately, away from windows, lowest floor possible, and in an interior room of your home or building. This is, again, a brand new tornado warning. Rotation is going to be located back here near Orion. Again, nothing that's tight and confined here, but it might be something to watch for at some point in the next several minutes as this starts to evolve. That's where the rotation is located, though, just west of Andover, near Interstate 74. Make sure you seek shelter, away from windows, lowest floor possible, and in an interior room of your home or building. Again, this is a brand new tornado warning just to the southeast of Davenport. Let me go over to we're gonna go back a couple scans here. Just want to check out the velocities a second ago. Yeah, here's the loop of the velocity. So this is probably why they issue the warning. So right about here, you might notice that it actually does seem to be becoming a bit more organized around 317. So we have a little bit more rotation. It's still broad, but there is a bit more organization there. That is where we'll have to watch for a tornado risk. Will be with this little area. near Orion, as well as near Andover and Interstate 74. That's going to be the area that if there were to be a tornado, it's going to develop kind of that little area. And you, again, a little bit higher up into the atmosphere. This is slightly higher up. Stronger rotational loft, but near the surface, it's a little bit weaker. It's near Orion, Interstate 74, again, moving towards Andover. We have 2 different tornado warnings ongoing. We also had a funnel cloud reported about half an hour ago back over in Burnside. So, must have been associated with that cluster of storms that new tornado warning is associated with. And yeah, we have a lot of warnings down in North Texas. I'll get to some of those here pretty soon. This is a pretty nasty looking supercell. We have updates coming in fairly frequently with this supercell. Another one's coming in just a moment, so I'll show you more on that here in a second. Thank you, Fertz, for the $5 super chat. I'm used to storms weakening significantly as they approach. I don't know what MKE is. Is that Milwaukee? If you're talking about Milwaukee, they probably will weaken again tonight. I'd expect damaging winds being the main concern there. If that's what you're saying, I don't know what MKE is. I'm guessing that's what that is. Thank you again for the $5 super chat. And a further reminder, if you're just tuning in for the first time, make sure to like the stream. Helps get this out to more people in the track of these storms. Also, make sure that you're subscribed down below. We are very close to 50,000 subscribers. Appreciate if you subscribe to the channel. Here's the latest radar scan, and we are starting to see a very defined area for a hook. Now, we have an inflow that's very clean as well coming into the supercell. Let's check out those velocities. Here's the velocities, and it looks like it's actually a little bit in front of it. Let me just make sure these times are matched up here. Yeah, so they're matched up, so that's kind of what we're looking at here. So this is your rotation right there. So near Orion, the rotation is like slightly out in front of that near Interstate 74. So we have some sort of rotation here that is attempting to strengthen near Interstate 74. Now, it'll be interesting to see if we go a little bit higher up into the atmosphere, if this rotation is a bit stronger. Because if it is, then that could indicate potentially some sort of lowering of a wall cloud or a funnel cloud or something along those lines. We'll see here. This is slightly higher up into the atmosphere. It should appear here in a second. I'll turn it off and turn it back on. Yeah, so there you go. So yeah, there's definitely some rotation with this cell. Whether we see something at the ground is a bit of a question mark, but this is a very clean supercell right now. We have a lot of hail to begin with. That, you know, obviously is definitely very concerning for those in Genoso. Golf ball sized hail potential really does exist there. Just southeast of Davenport, Iowa is where we are if you're just tuning in. But the area that we have the hook is right here. And then we have an inflow going to the storm. Again, tornadoes usually like to sit right about there, just kind of around Orion there, southeast of Orion by about a mile or two. So we'll be watching this as it moves off to the east. If you're in Atkinson, Genoso, Cambridge, make sure that you are staying away from windows, lowest floor possible, and in an interior room of your home or building. Quick update on the tornado warning near Industry. We haven't really looked at this one recently. Rotation is still there. I mean, we still have some pretty decent rotation right now located near Table Grove. It's not strong, and the wind's going away from the radar, which you can see here. That is the wind's going away from the radar. Those red colors, that's representing weaker winds going away from the radar. They're much stronger going towards the radar. So what that basically means in essentially with a tornado warning storm is usually it's not really that strong of rotation. But we still have to watch for the potential for some sort of tornado dropping with this as it moves off to the north and northeast. Even though the winds might be weak going one direction, we can still see tornadoes. Usually they're still on the weaker side, but this definitely has a potential for producing a tornado at some point over the next several minutes. But it's going to be located right there near 136. And I would honestly probably expect a new tornado warning on this because this rotation has become much stronger, but we'll see what happens. That is definitely something to be pretty concerned about. And for those, actually, let me real quickly, because there's not a tornado warning here. If you're anywhere in Marietta, Smithfield, Cuba, or Table Grove, you should get into your safe place now as the storm does continue to move off to the north and northeast. Again, this is in Illinois, so those in Marietta, Cuba, Smithfield, you're going to want to make sure that you stay away from windows, lowest floor possible, and in an interior room of your home or building. That's the rotation there near 136. Moving off to the northeast, Smithfield will be in the direct path of this in the next few minutes. So we'll see if they issue a new tornado warning. Regardless, we're still watching for damaging winds around 60 miles per hour at the bare minimum. Also, we have a new warning that just got issued for those near Clinton, Thompson, or Thompson. I said Thompson. I think it's Thompson. They sound the same. But back over here, just east now of the Iowa border, we're now in Illinois. These storms are producing quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. We have a new radar scan probably coming in on this storm southeast of Davenport in the next few minutes. But this is a tornado warned cell near Genoso and Atkinson, moving off to the east-northeast. Geneseo, thank you. Houston, Texas shouldn't see anything too crazy. If anything, I don't even know if you're in a risk today. I don't think you're in a risk today, but if you are, hail's the main threat. I think you might be, but it's just hail if you get anything. Maybe some gusty winds. And just a friendly reminder, we have a lot of warnings, so I will not be able to go over all of them. The priority will be tornado warnings. I'll be trying to go over as many warnings as possible, though. We have literally 19 warnings in effect, 2 of which are tornado warnings, and the remainder of them are severe thunderstorm warnings. So we have a lot of warnings, but I'll try to get to other ones as well. Aurora, Illinois will be impacted later today. So you got about a couple more hours probably until you start to see some storms. How's it going, Megan? Yeah, Chicago suburbs. If you're anywhere in the Chicago suburbs, you probably have a better chance of severe weather in about an hour and a half to 2 hours. I wouldn't expect anything in the next, hour, though. Maybe an isolated shower, pop-up storm, but severe weather will increase going closer to, I don't know, give or take around 5 to 7 o'clock. That's probably your best chance for severe weather tonight. How's it going, Antonio? Let me go to Twitter, see if we have any new reports coming in. Alright, so no new severe reports at this time. Yeah, we had a funnel cloud reported a while ago with a storm to the southwest. This storm in particular has not had any reports yet. We had a funnel cloud reported back near Burnside about half an hour ago. That was with this cluster of storms moving off to the north and east. This storm had a wall cloud at one point. We've had no recent reports of a rotation of any sorts, but we've had some hail reports coming in. This is, again, where the tornado would likely be located. It would be kind of in this little inflow. We got a little bit of rotation there, so that's north of Table Grove. And the velocities match up with that. So, again, we could see a tornado at any time going towards Smithfield. I know this is not in a tornado warning right now, at least as I'm speaking, but there might be one at some point soon. But, yeah, again, this area right here, there's definitely some rotation. Whether we see a tornado or not is still kind of up in the air, but there very well could be one at any time as this continues to move off to the north and northeast. A lot of hail, though, without a doubt. I mean, we're still watching for a lot of hail. Just at this time, there's no confirmation of any tornadoes so far today, which is good news. All right, we're going to go back up to the other cell. We have another radar scan coming on this one. All right, so near Interstate 80, if you're anywhere near Interstate 80, you're going to want to make sure, again, if you're like a truck driver or something like that, make sure you pull over because, again, damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour is definitely dangerous to drive with. This is where the rotation's located. Again, it's not strong, tight, or confined, but there is some rotation right now going on there. We'll be watching that cell fairly closely as it moves off to the east-northeast going towards Atkinson. We have several severe thunderstorm warnings. The 2 tornado warnings right now that we have are in Illinois. The tornado risk is going to be the highest throughout Illinois and southern Wisconsin this evening. So just make sure, again, that if you're anywhere in Illinois and in a tornado watch, make sure you have your safety plan in place for tornado warnings today. We'll probably see more than this as we go into the afternoon and evening. One second. Right. Yeah, if you're over in Peoria, you're going to have more of a threat probably in about an hour or so. The main threat's going to be with this supercell that's right now tornado warned. Let's actually go over to that. We have a new tornado warning that was just issued on this cell, which I'm not surprised by. This rotation's been fairly strong. This is going to be going towards Canton, so if you're in St. David, Fairview, Cuba, Smithfield, any of these areas, make sure you're getting to your safe place, away from windows, lowest floor possible, and in an interior room of your home or building. Again, this is for until 4 o'clock this afternoon, so about 25-minute tornado warning. This is going to include, again, Smithfield, Cuba, Lewistown, St. David. Canton's kind of on the cusp of it, just south of Fairview. This is, again, a very nasty supercell. This is where the hail core is located. This is your hook It's a very small, it looks kind of small and kind of dense, and then this is your inflow going into the storm, and if there were to be a tornado, it's going to sit right about there, just north of Table Grove. If you're included in this area, make sure you're seeking shelter immediately, away from windows, lowest floor possible. That's your rotation right now. And again, it's not tight and confined, it's not like a definite tornado, but it's strong. I mean, we have some strong rotation here heading towards Smithfield and Cuba. So if you're out in front of this, just make sure that you are staying away from windows. Is my audio an issue for anybody, by the way? I've had people saying more recently that my, like, I sound quieter. I can fix it, I just haven't noticed it at all. But maybe I'm going crazy. Paris, Texas is mainly just hail. Audio's good, okay, cool. Yeah, Paris is going to be mainly hail, up maybe to $half size. All right, here's the latest radar scan on the Supercell, again in Illinois. This is near Smithfield. Overall, the rotation in this latest scan is a bit broader. Now, we could see the Supercell recycle. That's definitely in the playing cards with these Supercells today. Winds going away from the radar. Again, much stronger than the ones going towards the radar. But overall, we have some broadening here. When you see these darker reds, that's going to represent broader rotation. And so that's what we're looking at right now, just southwest of Smithfield. But this could recycle. Let's go back over to the reflectivity values. Honestly, I can't even lie. This Supercell's been pretty impressive. There's a large hail core that we're still watching here, around ping pong ball size. And then we also have some hail on the other side of this near Smithfield. And then a inflow going into the Supercell. That's your hook. It's, again, it has the potential for a tornado at any time. It has some recycling, though, that's happening with it now. So we'll see if it does end up developing some sort of tornado risk as it goes towards Cuba. But if you're anywhere in Cuba and Smithfield, you want to make sure that you're staying in your safe place. That the recycling stage can take a minute or two. It can take upwards of 15 to 20 minutes. It all varies, so you just want to make sure you're staying in your safe place, away from windows. Let's go back to the storm southeast of Davenport. This is the latest radar scan on this one. We still have a slew of hail ongoing east of Interstate 74 and along Interstate 80, and also just to the north of Andover and Cambridge. Be approaching Interstate 80 in the next few minutes. This is becoming more of a wind threat, though. I don't see a whole lot of rotation really left with this tornado warning cell, which is great news. But we are definitely still looking at more of a wind threat. We'll monitor the threat for an isolated tornado with this storm as it moves off to the east, but for right now, it is turning into more, I would say, of a damaging wind and hail threat in comparison to a tornado risk. But the storm down to the south, I think, has a better chance of producing a tornado risk at some point down the road. All right, quick update on the storms west of St. Louis. We have a couple of storms producing quarter-sized hail, 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. These are moving off to the northeast. None of these are at least concerning to St. Louis over the next several minutes. Back through southern portions of Missouri, we also have another severe storm south of Rolla. Again, not too concerning there. We have a lot of warnings down in North Texas. I'm going to quickly break these down, and then we'll go back up to Illinois. We have one storm that's going to be approaching Waco with the threat of ping pong ball-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. This is going to be moving off to the east, and as well as Gatesville, you're going to be seeing some large hail. Hail core is located back near 36 right now. Further up to the north, we have another storm that has been ongoing for about an hour now, south of Waxahachie. This is producing quarter-sized hail, 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. A new supercell formed over near Mesquite in eastern Dallas County, back through portions of Kaufman County. That's producing quarter-sized hail, 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. And we also have another one going towards Paris, Texas. This is around quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. Moving off to the east-northeast right now towards Blossom, and as well as Paris. All right, we're going to go back to the tornado warnings. Just want to make sure that for those that are, all the friends there in the south are kind of aware of the storms that are going on down there. They're a bit more scattered in nature right now down that direction. All right, no new updates on this storm as of right now, and none on the other one. And a friendly reminder, if you're just tuning in, make sure to subscribe down below. We are now 200 subscribers away from 50,000. Believe it or not, which is crazy. Also, make sure to like the stream. Helps get this out to more people. I'll be live for as long as possible today. I can't guarantee a full, like, 5-6 hour live stream because I still don't have an office chair, but that issue will be fixed at some point soon. I don't have one right now. I'll have one in May. This month, though, is it's a goner. Only getting rain here in the Maypearl with my storm. Yeah, are you talking about the storm that are Maypearl? Is that Johnson County or is that the other one? It's not Johnson County. Or is it Johnson County? I think it's Johnson County. Yeah, that cell didn't look too impressive. They looked to at least have some wind to some extent, but I didn't really look at it too in depth. Yeah, that storm didn't look too crazy. All right, here's the latest velocity scan. Again, we have some broadening rotation right now. Overall, we're not looking at anything too concerning. Winds right now are strong. There's probably at least damaging winds around 60 miles per hour, but we have broadening rotation. Once you start seeing these darker greens and reds kind of mixing together, usually is going to indicate broader rotation. So some good news for now on this tornado warning. It has a very good likelihood, though, that it'll recycle at some point down the road. So we'll have to be watching out for that potential. This is a cell, though, that has some more showers and storms kind of connecting to the backside, which might kind of impact the overall tornado risk as this moves towards areas like Smithfield, Cuba, and eventually going towards St. David. And the tornado warning has now been condensed, so it no longer includes Table Grove, but it does still include Smithfield, Cuba, southern portions of Fairview, west of Canton, St. David, and Lewistown. Here's the latest radar scan. Again, hook there, that's your inflow. That is where a tornado likes to sit usually with these sort of storms. Right about there, a couple miles to the southwest of Smithfield. We still have broad rotation. Nothing really intensifying quite yet on the velocities. Let's go over to this. Let's do base velocities. So right now, nothing really intensifying on the velocities, but we definitely have an intensification of the inflow. The inflow has been fairly strong with this. Still have a pretty defined hook. So again, if there was to be a tornado, it would be located right about there, southwest of Smithfield. It'll be moving off to the east-northeast towards St. David and Cuba. And this is one of two tornado warnings that we have ongoing, one of which here is near Smithfield. The other one's further up to the north. This one I'm not as concerned about, at least from what I looked at a few minutes ago. Real quickly, we're going to look at the velocities. Looks like we still just have more of a wind threat right now. Near Interstate 80 approaching Atkinson. Looks to be more of a damaging wind potential. I'm not seeing any sort of rotation, though, really in the lower levels, which is good news. But stay in shelter for the next few minutes until that warning is officially lifted or canceled. Because, again, we could definitely still see a brief tornado out of that. This storm still has a potential, I would say, for a bit more of a long-term potential for a tornado risk. Still have some rotation. It's broad. It's not strong, but we'll be watching for the threat of maybe a tornado as this continues to move off to the east-northeast. The suburbs of Chicago will see storms in a couple hours. You're not going to have much of a threat right now, but you will have an increasing threat a little bit later today. Between 5 to 7 o'clock. Tucker, you're fine. All right, here's the latest radar scan. Velocities will update here in just a second. I'm not sure there's really any intensification here quite yet. Still kind of in a recycling stage. Broad rotation still here near Smithfield. It is a very large area of rotation. I do want to mention that. It is a fairly large area that we see of rotation here. Sort of similar to what we saw in Oklahoma with a couple of those storms. We had very broad areas of rotation that were like large. I mean, we're looking at a large area of broad rotation, but again, we're not probably going to be looking at anything too crazy like what we saw in Oklahoma last night, but we still very well could see a tornado risk with these storms as they continue to move off to the east-northeast towards St. David and Canton. This is back over to the reflectivity. And again, we're not really seeing anything too crazy yet. This is, again, where the rotation is located here. It's not rain-wrapped. So if you're a storm chaser out in front of it and you're 97, you're really not looking at anything rain-wrapped here. But that's where the rotation is going to be located. There might be some more upper-level rotation. Let's check that out real quick. Go a little bit higher up into the atmosphere. Not sure we're even really seeing that much upper-level rotation, to be honest with you, which is, again, great news. Yeah, this is slightly higher up into the atmosphere. We're not looking at anything too crazy here either. So, again, looks to be broad rotation for now. I have mentioned multiple times this will probably recycle as it moves towards Canton and St. David. It's not as discrete as it once was, which could limit its overall threat of producing a tornado as well down the road. But for right now, still something to watch out for closely as that cell continues to move off to the northeast towards Canton, north of Lewistown. We're going to stay on this storm for at least the next couple of minutes, and we'll kind of go over some of the other storms as well. If there's no big developments in the next scan, I'll go over the other supercells that we have. We have a lot of them. Again, we have Let me just recount the warnings here. We have currently a total of 17 warnings. So yeah, again, there's a lot. 15 of those are severe thunderstorm warnings, and 2 of them are tornado warnings. Can't wait to get to my area, Springfield. Yeah, it probably won't be too high of a risk in Springfield. At least I don't think. Springfield probably won't be too bad. Yeah, the main threat, I mentioned this a few times, but like really the main threat of a tornado risk will be between about 4 to 6 o'clock, and that's primarily going to be west of Chicago, near Interstate 36, I think it is, or 39. So Interstate 39, this area, I would say, has the greatest tornado risk, so just kind of west of Chicago. That's where I think the tornado risk gets a little bit higher, but overall areas south of the tornado watch, the tornado risk is very low. The shear values and all that, they're just very low. They're very subpar today for any sort of tornado risk. The storms really down here, though, are more of hail and damaging winds. We're looking at more of a very... And this goes with any slight risk usually, very widely scattered to scattered severe storms. And you'll notice if we just zoom out here, you can notice here we have warnings that are very scattered. We have one tornado warning or one severe thunderstorm warning here. They're all very scattered. They're not all combined together. So it's going pretty perfectly with the slight risk. Now they are much more numerous, I'd say, or much more scattered to numerous, kind of in that degree, across areas in western Illinois. And this was kind of to be expected with clusters of storms. And not just that, with the tornado risk being a bit higher with higher shear values, we usually see some sort of increased threat of severe weather. And we have plenty more warnings up here, but these are still scattered in nature. I mean, this is nothing really, I would say, prominent for like an enhanced risk of severe weather to this point, but we're definitely looking at a lot of supercells. It's just over a very large area, which makes it very deceiving when it comes to like an enhanced risk, but it's a huge area of severe storms. Here's the update on the, I'll do a little quick update on the tornado warning here southeast of Davenport, Iowa. This is now in Illinois. Looks like we're trying to get some sort of rotation going here near Interstate 80, but it's not rotating right now. But it's trying to. If it becomes organized, it might. It's not organized anymore. It's a big cluster of storms. Golf ball sized hail is the main threat, which has been observed, by the way. So there's been golf ball sized hail observed. That'll be heading towards Hoopool. I read that as some other name a second ago. Hoopool, eventually going towards New Bedford. This is again near Atkinson and Anawan. Those areas are right now on the track of golf ball sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. And this is your tornado warning cell back near Canton. This has had the most concern for the last, several minutes. We'll see if it's able to recycle. The rotations become much broader, though, over the last few minutes here. How's it going, Jacob? St. Louis main threat will be hail. Hail is the main concern. And a friendly reminder, if you're just tuning in for the first time, make sure to subscribe down below. We're about 200 subscribers from 50,000. Also, make sure to click the bell icon so you get notified with the latest live streams and videos. Again, I do apologize. I was not live last night. I was actually going to. And then I realized I had an essay thing due last night. So, good times. And not just that, I had another homework assignment. So, today I'm good, though. I mean, I'm honestly good for really the rest of the day. It's just more of how comfortable I am in this office chair. It's so uncomfortable. But once we go into May, June, July, August, I won't have any of these issues. I'll be back in the max velocity studio. Oh, actually, also, quick news. I will have a green screen pretty soon. I mentioned this a few months ago. I'm getting a green screen, having a whole sort of setup, so I'll be able to do weather on a green screen pretty soon. Which will be pretty sick. So, look out for that soon. Here's the latest radar scan. Again, velocities are still very broad, which means broad rotation. No ongoing tornado with this, but there could be one at some point down the road. It might recycle as it approaches Canton, but I'm not overly confident it will at this point. We'll still watch it closely, but overall the winds aloft or even near the surface are fairly broad and weak. This is, again, red indicates winds going away from the radar, and green represents winds going towards the radar. So if you're new to reading weather radars, that's what that all means. When you see gray colors, that usually means very weak winds or weak velocities, and as well as usually broad rotation when they're in between red and green colors like this. So we're seeing very broad rotation right now with this supercell. It's a large area, though, so I wouldn't rule out that we see some sort of tornado with this sometime down the road, but for right now, looks to be good news. We're not looking at anything too concerning for the time being. It's more of a hail threat at this point. We're looking at definitely somewhere around $0.50 to ping pong ball size tail as this continues to move off to the north and east. Yeah, there's some storms approaching Wisconsin. The northwesterly cells here. I would say this can be more of a hail threat, but I mean, you can see here, there's actually, a second ago, it looked like a bit of a hook. There's definitely a possibility for maybe an isolated tornado with this. I would say, though, the overall tornado risk with these storms, it's going to be more of a brief sort of tornado and probably weak. I'm not looking at anything too strong. I'm definitely more concerned about the damaging wind and, you know, marginal sized hail threat. Pocket change sized hail is how it goes. So, that's what we're looking at there. And here are your severe storms ongoing in eastern North Texas. We have plenty of them ongoing. None of these are tornado warned. I know we had a report out of Maypearl a little while ago, just, you know, gusty winds. The main hail core state looks like just south of Maypearl, so that's where the hail core is, possibly quarter-sized hail, but yeah, not very impressive supercell. One near Terrell, caught my eye a little bit here. We do have a little hook trying to develop. More of a hail concern, though. We have a large area where hail could be falling. Maximum hailstone size will be quarters, so around 1-inch diameter hail possible as it approaches Terrell. This is again in northern Kaufman County. Another storm near Paris producing around quarter-sized hail as well. And again, I'm not very concerned about that cell right now. It's more of a hail threat. New warning back over north of Fort Smith. This got issued a little while ago. We just never got to it. This is producing $0.50 sized hail. No wind threat for right now. That's near Mountainburg and Winslow. We also have another one right on the border, or right next to the border there of Missouri and Arkansas, and near Diamond City and Omaha. That's for 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds, and your hail core, which is producing quarter-sized hail, is located right there near 65. We also have a couple of little clusters of storms east of Springfield. These are also producing the same threats of quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. Those are moving off to the east. The ones west of St. Louis are not coming towards St. Louis. They'll stay just to your north. You might get cells later on, but these are the ones that will be staying to your north. Ones entering into Troy, we actually have a bit more of an impressive hail core here. That's probably closer to $0.50 sized hail now, but hail threat is increasing just a little bit near Troy in Missouri. West of Winfield right now. That'll be approaching Winfield and Foley within the next 15 minutes. All the locations are on the left side of your screen. This warning does go until 4:15. And really, that's like the main stuff that we got ongoing just to the south of this tornado watch. Tornado watch is really the more concerning area today, obviously because there is a tornado watch. Everywhere else is a severe thunderstorm watch, but mainly because we have more shear up this direction. So the tornado risk will be obviously naturally a bit higher, which is still a low threat, but it does exist. So many St. Louis viewers. I do have a lot of St. Louis viewers. I have a lot of yeah, I have a lot of St. Louis viewers. A lot of Chicago viewers. North Texas is probably my biggest viewing audience, I think. NATO Cash just came out with the latest outlook for tornadoes, by the way, if you're curious. Again, this is just one outlook. The Storm Prediction Center has a 5% risk up here, and then the rest is a 2%. But, you know, you kind of take it with a grain of salt or take it with whatever you want to do, but overall the risk isn't really too different from what they're saying at this point. I still think the risk is a bit higher up here. I honestly don't think the 5% down in South Texas is really out of the question there, but I think the risk is kind of low in Texas. The shear is not very strong in Texas today. Not very strong. Tornado warning, by the way, I believe will be let to expire. Saw the large hail core right now moving through areas near Canton. Let me go to this screen. I'm going to take a quick screenshot of this. We'll do this. That's... Just going to post this to Twitter as well. Yeah, for those there in St. Louis, you're not really seeing anything yet. We'll watch your weather closely, but the storms right now have stayed to your north so far. Which is good news. All right, this is the main tornado warning. Let's go back to the velocities on this. Again, broad rotation still ongoing. Here are your winds going towards the radar, winds going away from the radar. That's typical counterclockwise spin. Still broad rotation, though. When you see these gray colors in between, that's usually going to represent broad rotation. We're not seeing anything tight and confined, but we are still watching for the threat of some rotation. This could recycle as it moves toward Canton. And for those that are out in front of this storm, I know we have some viewers in Peoria. You are kind of in the track of the supercell. Now, whether it is a tornado warn cell by then, whether there's still rotation, that's all to be determined. But you want to make sure you have your safety plan in place if you're in Peoria. Especially on the south side, I'd say Peoria. You have a better chance of seeing the storm in comparison to people on the northern side. This is the last 30 minutes. And the storm will be heading probably towards Peoria, maybe just on the south side. Will probably be where the more significant hail is with it. So, rotation, though, if there's any sort of tornadic threat with this particular cell, it'll be probably going towards Peoria, like in almost a beeline towards it. So, it is going kind of this direction right now. So, kind of on the south side there, but even if you're on the north side, I'd still have those precautions in place. Let me get a different color here. We'll do white. There you go. Better line there. So, that's kind of the direction it's taking, going towards Peoria. We do have a brand new tornado warning that was just issued for those in Sterling, Illinois. This is for Carroll County and Whiteside County. Let's see. All right, so it's going to be the storm back up here to the north. That's northeast of Davenport. This is a brand new tornado warning near Sterling. Make sure you seek shelter immediately away from windows, lowest floor possible. Not an overly impressive looking supercell, but look at the rotation here. We definitely have some strong rotation near Morrison, Illinois. That'll be moving off to the east-northeast. Seek shelter immediately away from windows, lowest floor possible. Again, brand new tornado warning. Northeast of Davenport, Iowa. This is in western Illinois, though, this particular cell. Near Morrison, they'll be eventually going towards Sterling. We're going to check out the correlation coefficient as well to see if there's any sort of tornado on the ground. Not at this time. It's all rain, but pretty strong rotation right now, approaching areas near Coletta and Sterling. If you're any of these locations, make sure you're getting to your safe place immediately, away from windows, lowest floor possible, interior room of your home or building, away from windows. If you don't have a room away from windows, a tub in a bathroom is always a good idea. Need that max of the green screen? I will have it soon. I need to get the right lighting for it. I've spent so much money already on lighting, and I need to get the right lights for it. That's the biggest thing. Thank you, Maximus, for the $4.99. Do you think Burleson, Texas will get hit any? No, Burleson's done. Anywhere in the DFW Metroplex is pretty much done. If you're still seeing a little bit of showers and storms, it's gonna wind down within the next like 30 minutes. It's pretty much done already. Depending on where you are, it all depends. Get a green screen suit? Yeah, maybe. We'll see. I could probably use a green screen suit. I'll have that in May, so stay tuned. I have a really busy May ahead, by the way. For those that are like regular viewers here, I do have a very busy May, so the chances of me going live in May, at least at the beginning of the month, are so low. I will not be able to go live from like May 1st to the 11th. That's how busy I am. And then I'll have another time that I can't go live from like the 17th to the 21st. So it's gonna be a good time. Unfortunately, I plan all these things just at horrible times. So, but after that, I'm pretty clear. All right, let's go back to the radar. Again, 3:58 p.m. Central Time. This is a tornado warn cell north of Linden near Morrison and approaching Sterling and Coletta. This is for the potential, again, for a tornado. Strong rotation ongoing near 30. This is, again, moving off to the northeast. Tornadoes can go any direction. That's why if you're anywhere in this pink polygon, you want to make sure you're in your safe place. But if there's to be a tornado, it is currently developing just about a half a mile to a mile east of the downtown area of Morrison, Illinois. So again, if you're anywhere in Sterling or Coletta, you want to make sure you're seeking shelter. This is the latest radar scan. It has broadened out substantially in the latest scan, so that's good news. Maybe a brief tornado of some sorts here near Morrison, but overall the rotation is much broader and weaker, but it could recycle, so stay in your safe place if you're anywhere in this warning. We will keep a close eye on that one. We're going to go back to the tornado warning down near Peoria. I believe this one is about to expire, but I do want to check out to see if we have anything redeveloping with this. We do have a new warning for severe weather. This is going to be for the potential for ping pong ball sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. This is going to include areas just southwest of Peoria. If you're in this area, make sure you seek shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible. Obviously, do not be outside. There is a ton of lightning with this. This is not a tornado warning. There is still a tornado possible label on it, but for right now, the main concern is the large hail. We're not really seeing as much rotation anymore. It's become very broad, which is great news. but it could recycle as it approaches Peoria. I've heard people saying, is it Peoria? Is that how you say it? But that's going to be going towards that area, as well as Hannah City, Glassford. Canton's in the direct path of this in the next, like, 5 minutes. We have had confirmation now of golf ball-sized hail in Smithfield. So this storm actually could be producing upwards of golf ball-sized hail. Thank you, G5, for the not $5, $1.99 super chat. What's the current near future status of Indiana? Indiana's not seeing any severe weather today. I don't know if you'll see any tomorrow. Let me check. I don't think, because the tomorrow's risk actually got downgraded. If you're in like northwest Indiana, you have a low chance. It'd probably be for damaging winds, if anything, up to 60. Tomorrow's risk was originally a slight risk down near the Gulf Coast, and that has now gone to a marginal threat. So tomorrow's risk is not very concerning. I will not be live tomorrow. That's good news. All right, cool. Yeah, Canton right now is looking at rain. This is Canton. So the huge hail core. I mean, this is a large area of hail. That is approaching Canton fairly quickly. This is the correlation coefficient. And you'll notice here, some of these like little blue marks are representing the hail actually being detected by radar. So there's definitely hail. That'll be approaching Canton fairly quickly over the next several minutes. Let me take off the tornado warning tag. There are 2 tornado warnings ongoing. I believe actually another one just got canceled. Yeah, another one did. So I'm going to take it down to 1. I'm also going to take off the tag off the top of the screen because I will probably not be looking at that storm too much unless something develops out of it. So we're going to do that. Just so people don't know or don't think this is an ongoing tornado warning. Let's go over to the warning count. Make that this. We're currently at 21 total warnings, by the way. Just fun fact. 20 severe thunderstorm warnings and 1 tornado warning. I'm going to real quickly check on this tornado warning. I don't think this is going to redevelop, but we'll check. Just to make sure. This is the storm northeast of Davenport. You never know with these cells. This radar is glitch. Wow, that's an impressive radar. Rotation is still located right here. It's broad. From what I saw there, it's still kind of on the broader side of things. But stay in shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible, just in case something develops. It has a little hook. I mean, it definitely has that. There's some rain around it, so it is kind of in a rain wrap stage. So that's going to kind of impact any storm chasers. You're probably not going to be able to see it very well if there is any sort of lowering. But again, just stay in shelter. It's going to be going towards Coletta. Sterling is not in the direct path of this. I would still stay in shelter just in case. But Mill Edgeville, well, that's a cluster of a name. Millridgeville. That area, make sure you're staying on alert. I would recommend if at least you're on the southern side or even in the central area there, the downtown area, to seek shelter because this storm is definitely still rotating, heading towards that area. And there's also a threat for ping pong ball sized hail as it continues to move off to the north and northeast. And we also have a severe thunderstorm warning, pretty large one out in front of it for quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. There are so many warnings. All right, let's go over to... We're going to go back to the Peoria storm here. About to enter into Canton. This one does have a tornado possible label on it, so we'll be monitoring that threat here over the next several minutes as well. Southwest Indiana is not going to see severe weather either. Might see rain, but that'd be about it. Maybe a couple of rumbles of thunder, but that's maximum. I didn't do a video forecast today, so I didn't do any timing guides or anything like that, but that's pretty much what you're looking at today. I'm not too concerned about severe weather in Indiana. Further reminder, if you're just tuning in for the first time, make sure to subscribe down below. We're only 3 subscribers from 49,850. And also make sure to like the stream. Helps get this out to more people in the path of these severe storms. St. Louis isn't too concerning right now. Let's go down to St. Louis. The storms are northwest of St. Louis. So if you're in the suburbs, that's a different story. But the storms are anywhere near St. Louis right now. You might get this outflow-driven cluster of storms at some point down the road, but I'm not too concerned really about significant severe weather at this time. This storm, though, near Troy, or just went through Troy, produced a ton of hail reports. We have a lot of half-dollar, quarter-sized hail reports. 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds was confirmed. West of Winfield, we do have a pretty hefty hail core here. No rotation. A huge hail core is developed near E47, moving off to the east-northeast near Foley. So, something to be concerned about if you're over just crossing into the border here of Illinois. It'll be going towards Carrollton and Jerseyville eventually. Ellsbury, but Winfield is really the main location in the track of this hail core right now. Very impressive hailstorm. Yeah, St. Louis in particular is not in any sort of track of severe storms right now. You might see one in an hour or two with that outflow-driven cluster of storms, but this one will stay off to your north. This is probably the more severe of any storms that we'll see over here today. Golf ball-sized hail, 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. Very impressive supercell. Let's go over to the Lincoln radar site. We'll stay on this one. Actually, I do want to go back up to the other one. I think we have a new update on this warning. Let's just check it out and see if we have any better view of the velocities here. I want to get the storm relative velocities. Yeah, broad rotation. So Coletta, I'd still be on alert here if you're anywhere out in front of this. So Coletta is the one included in this tornado warning. Polo is going to be in the track as well in Illinois, Mount Morris, Oregon. It'll stay north of Dixon, Leaf River, Byron, Davis Junction. So yeah, anywhere in front of this, I'd keep a close eye on this storm. Yeah, I'm not concerned right now about an incoming tornado threat in the next, like, 5 minutes. But still, stay in shelter, just in case. Because this storm, you know, but the environment that we have, we can see tornadoes really spur up quite quickly. So we do want to be on alert for that. New reports coming in near Canton, or just southwest of Canton. We do have quarter-sized hail that was reported by emergency management about 10 minutes ago in Cuba. That was quarter-sized hail. And then a half-dollar-sized hail reported from a MPing report out of a couple miles to the south of Cuba in Fulton County, Illinois. Golf ball-sized hail has also been reported out of the cell. So there's been some hail with this for sure. All right, I'm going to check to see if we have any other new reports coming in. We have a lot of, oh, actually, real quickly, we do have a new upgrade on a warning back down in North Texas near Waco. We're now up to a significant hailstorm of hen egg-sized hail. I'm trying to get the radar site here. West of Waco, Texas, there's now up to hen egg-sized hail moving off to the east. Very significant hailstorm. This is actually, I think, moving a bit more southeast. Let's just double check here on the loop. No, it is moving east. So yeah, this storm has an outflow boundary. It is moving off to the east, producing the threat of some hen egg-sized hail. The threat of damaging winds around 60 miles per hour also exists as this continues to move off to the east. Just gotta post this to Facebook real quick. Yeah, that's west of Waco right now. This storm will be approaching Waco. The hail core is probably going to stay just to the south of Waco. So that's a bit more of a concern there for Waco in the next little while. All right, that is posted. Yeah, this storm is definitely increasing in intensity a bit. This is, again, the hail core. It's going to be where all that black and pink you kind of see there, that's all going to be your hail core just to the east of Gatesville. Let's go back up to DFW. We haven't really checked in on these storms in a while. The cell that is kind of weakening, it's not really any supercell anymore. It's more of a cell. It's near Italy and Milford. It is weakening out. It's near Interstate 35E. Moving down to the east-southeast, producing quarter-sized hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. I highly doubt it's producing either of those threats anymore. We've had a couple of people in that area say that there's not really anything happening with that storm, but so it's kind of on the lower side of things. The cell near Terrell is up to ping pong ball sized hail. We have a report now of ping pong ball sized hail reported out of Forney in Kaufman County. And this actually, the report says, was just shy of golf ball sized hail at a middle school. So it's the most recent report that we have coming out of this cell here near Terrell. This is a little 30-minute loop of this as well. So this storm in particular, report of around golf ball size hail, pretty close to it. I'm guessing it's probably like 1.6 inches in diameter or something like that. I don't know the official measurement. All right, no other updates on these North Texas storms. That's the main update, though, on that. All right, let's head back up to the north into Illinois. Again, our main focus today will be Illinois and Texas. Those are like the two areas. We'll be watching the storms in between. for any significant developments. The one near St. Louis, or just to the north of St. Louis, has some concern. It's not going towards St. Louis, though, but that one definitely is another storm to watch for. Rotation on the storm near Canton has weakened substantially. We are now down to quarter-sized hail near Peoria, so good news there. We'll probably stay on the storms a little bit further up here to the north. We actually have some clusters. One near Kawini that is producing some hail. Near Galva as well. This is producing around quarter-sized hail, maybe a little bit larger than that. This is your hail core here. It's actually a pretty large area of hail that's potentially falling right now near Kawini, as well as north of Lafayette. So if you're anywhere near 78, again in western Illinois, make sure you're staying away from windows. Take the proper precautions tonight. Bring your car into your garage, all that sort of stuff. You do not want to leave your car out there with all the hail that's falling with these storms. There's a ton of hail falling with a lot of this stuff. And also, again, we have that tornado warning ongoing for right now, at least near Coletta. I would not be surprised if this is canceled, but we're going to go back to the velocities and check that out. And again, very weak rotation right now near Coletta, south of Mill Edgeville. Moving off to the east-northeast, this will be eventually going towards 52 near Polo. West of Dixon is where this tornado warning is still ongoing. But again, I'm not too concerned about the longevity of that particular cell. Tornado watch does go across the Midwest until 8 o'clock tonight. That's another 4 hours. Tornado risk will peak around 5 to 6 o'clock tonight. That's when it'll peak. And that peak will really happen across this area near Interstate 39. And then just to the west of the Chicago suburbs is where that highest tornado risk is today. It's not that high. I've mentioned it. I say highest in the sense of that the other areas are in a very low risk of a tornado. It's in the low category across those areas that I just circled. But yeah, I mean, it's basically this area here. But even then, the risk is still low. So, but it's still a risk. It's something to watch out for. New severe thunderstorm warning for those near Winfield, as well as Hardin. This will be moving into Illinois. The storm's producing golf ball-sized hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds moving towards Jerseyville, Kane, Carrollton. This storm's been pretty impressive. Large hail cores right now ongoing near Winfield. And we had a lot of reports. We actually do now have confirmation in Lincoln County, Missouri of golf ball-sized hail that has now been confirmed. In and around that area, there's been a lot of hail reports, varying anywhere from pea-sized hail upwards of now golf ball-sized hail. That's going to be moving towards Fielden, Jerseyville, Kane, Otterville. Make sure you're staying away from windows as that storm approaches as well. Yeah, and you can also see here, by the way, let's go over to the dew points. We actually can look at the temperatures, but I want to look at the dew points. Again, we have a dry line set up here, so you'll notice here much drier airs behind this. I've had a few people asking, in the DFW area particularly, are we done with severe weather? Well, if you're anywhere in the gray shaded area basically now, you're pretty much done with severe storms. You might still see an isolated storm later today if any storms are able to really kind of develop with all the sinking air. But overall, it's a low threat. But yeah, again, dew points are dropping substantially. All these greens are 60s and maybe even low 70s for dew points. Back to the west are all in the 50s, 40s, 30s, much lower dew points. So, also, update. This is actually something I did not notice. We are now at 28. I repeat, 28 severe thunderstorm warnings. That is near a record I've ever had on a live stream. That is insane. So yeah, we have 28 severe thunderstorm warnings. Again, I'm trying my best to go through all of them, but that's a lot. 28. It's actually quite incredible. Looks like a news station radar. I have designed it so it looks kind of like a pretty solid radar. I need to fix the upper third, though. That's at the top left. It does look like a news station, though, I know. I need to work on it still. It's not perfect. I haven't changed it in a while. Over the summer, it'll be upgraded a bit better. Alright, let me just double check to make sure I haven't missed any notifications. Thank you, BB, for the $2 super chat. How will Carpentersville, Illinois get? Wait, let me figure out where this is first. Sorry, I missed that. That was from like 10 minutes ago. If I miss a super chat, just like at me in chat. I might miss a couple. The main threat there will be damaging winds. Isolated tornado risk does exist in and out around that area. All right, I think I didn't miss anything else. Cool. Can you please check the storm near St. Louis? It says tornado possible. Wait, real quick. I'll check this out. All right, nothing too crazy. All right, let's go back up to the north. The one near St. Louis has a tornado possible. I don't think either of these would. Yeah, this one doesn't. The storms up here are just damaging winds and hail. Let's go over to here and do that. Yeah, so this is just hail. There's no really rotation with this, especially this storm. But look at this hail core. I mean, man, this is insane. Huge hail core near Winfield and Foley right now. That is a huge hail core. I mean, we're talking the potential for, like, you know, I wouldn't rule out a couple of hailstones in there that are around tennis ball size. I'm not even kidding. There's a threat for maybe a couple of tennis ball sized hailstones. Not out of the question. Tucker, that's fine. I don't care. But yeah, absolutely crazy stuff there. Let's go over to the correlation coefficient. Yeah, the correlation coefficient is literally picking up on all that hail. That's wild. Lots of hail falling near Foley right now. If you're in Foley, Missouri, and I think we're in Batchtown, Illinois. Again, this is right on the Illinois and Missouri border, north of St. Louis. You're definitely going to want to make sure that you're staying away from windows right now. This is quite a wild storm that we're having near Foley. Thank you, Allison, for the 199. Killeen, Texas. Just hail pretty much for you. Maybe isolated damaging winds. If you see any severe weather. I know there's a storm nearby, but yeah. This is incredible hail core. Very deep reflectivity, at least, to say the least. This is the reflectivity. Near 75 dBz. I don't remember the highest dBz value we've ever had on stream, but that's close to it. I think the highest we've ever had was like 75. So we're kind of on the cusp of that. That's a very deep area, though. Here's the latest radar scan. Immediately goes away after, but yeah, that was pretty crazy there for a second. I mean, we're still looking at large hail regardless. We might have saw, like, you know, a couple of hailstones near tennis ball size. And the storm back over north of Interstate 70 has a similar threat. There is a hail core intensifying there north of Interstate 70 near Wright City. So it might be something to watch for as that continues to move off to the north and east, but overall not too concerning there. Let's go back up to the storm near Peoria real quick. I don't think there's any new updates here. This storm's been weakening, which is great news. Yeah, it's more of a cluster. It's weakening. There might be some scattered or sporadic hail and damaging winds, but it's weakening quite quickly. The area of storms a little bit further up here to the north. We still have a tornado warning there. I think that's been canceled at this point. I don't, for some reason these don't go off my screen, but yeah, I think it's still ongoing. But I think the rotation has subsided on this. Go to the storm relative velocities. Yeah, there's no rotation left, so if you're in the tornado warning, you can get out of your safe place. Should be good. A bit further down to the south, near Kawini, still have some hail ongoing. Potential for large hail near Kawini is still ongoing. This is really probably the more concerning cluster of storms right now in western Illinois when it comes to hail. The other storms are really not producing much of anything when it comes to hail. This one's more concerning, though. Going towards Princeton, it's producing around ping pong ball sized hail. We have a bit more of a concerning feature with this cluster. If we get any of these discrete cells, which we don't have any discrete cells right now, but if any of these cells become discrete, that is when the threat of a tornado will increase. But we're not seeing any of that yet in Illinois, so good news there. We do have a new warning over in Wisconsin. A new little cell is kind of separated from the other ones near Evansville and Footville. This will be moving off to the northeast towards Cambridge, Deerfield, Cottage Grove, Jefferson, Lake Mills, Fort Atkinson, Slaughton, all included in a quarter-sized hailstorm. So a little storm racing to the north and east at around 66 miles per hour. I don't know if that's accurate, but that's what at least the radar's estimating. Might be going that fast. Yeah, that storm's moving pretty quick. Let's do a little half-hour loop. Yeah, that storm's racing to the north and east. Definitely more of a hail threat. This will not be really a tornado concern, at least for now. It's not really a storm that has that potential right now. That storm is racing, though. Look at all the other cells down here to the south. See how quickly that's just moving to the north and east? It has separated entirely. That's pretty cool. All right, let me pause the radar again. Let's go to here. We're going to go back down to North Texas for a moment. So we do have a new warning for golf ball-sized hail near Waco. We also have reports that have been confirmed of hail near Gatesville, of hen egg-sized hail. That's been reported moments ago just west of Waco. This storm is right now warned for golf ball sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. It is outflow driven, so a tornado risk is not expected with this storm, but it is definitely going to be producing damaging winds around 60 in and around not just the outflow boundary here, but it'll also be producing it inside the supercell. But definitely the hail threat is more concerning. Couple areas to watch for hail, one of which will be back in here, probably $quarter to $half size. That right there, northwest of Moody, is the area that we're probably looking at more of a golf ball sized hail threat. A little fun fact, by the way, we are on today's date is 4-20- I don't even know, but it's 420, by the way. So time and the date are 420. I just kind of thought of that. All right, let's crack over to the east of Dallas. Let's go over to the storm near Terrell real quick. This storm has been producing ping pong ball sized hail for the last few minutes. We have another report near Forney of ping pong ball sized hail near Interstate 20. Right in that area there. That is the hail that we're watching for near Terrell. So we'll be watching that threat pretty closely as that continues to move off to the east. We do have a new tornado warning that we have to get to. Let's go over to that. New tornado warning in Illinois. That's going to be associated with a storm. Actually, I was kind of looking at that a second ago. Looks like it had a little bit of a hook. Or maybe it wasn't the storm. But there's a new tornado warning for those near Neposet as well as near Coweeney. This is going to be for the potential for, again, a tornado risk. Let's go to the velocities. And that's where your rotation's located. It's on that leading edge of this thunderstorm. Moving off to the east, so seek shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible. Interior room of your home or building. This is, again, a brand new tornado warning that is moving off to the east. This is, again, in Illinois. This is near, this will be approaching areas southwest of Princeton, Illinois. This is south of Interstate 80. Seek shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible. And in an interior room of your home or building. FYI, the tornado warning up to the north just got canceled. So, I kind of figured it would. Anything near Houston? No. I don't really think you'll see much today. If you see anything, it's just isolated damaging winds, isolated hail. We'll be watching this tornado warning closely. Again, we are currently in Illinois. That's where the rotation's located. It's not strong, tight, confined, but there is some rotation there. I know it looks like it's tight and confined because the colors are both touching each other, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's tight and confined. The velocities overall are still quite dull. We're not looking at anything tight, but we definitely have some rotation there. Go to the correlation coefficient. Not indicating anything quite yet. Nothing indicated quite yet of an actual tornado. But the rotation is starting to strengthen a bit. It's definitely there. We could see a brief, weak sort of tornado there east of Coweeney, moving towards Tuskegee. I apologize. I don't know how to say like any of these names right now that we're in. The only one I know how to pronounce is Princeton. So southwest of Princeton. Again, in Illinois, that's where we're at. So the Poonset, I think, just south of there. That's where the rotation's located. Now, I can't say I've ever had a 6 or 7 city / town view and not being able to pronounce like any of them. It's pretty impressive. Been snowing where you live. You know, the Northern Plains have seen some snow recently. I think Wisconsin's gonna have a low chance of snow this weekend. By the way, little update. The 2 tornadoes from last night have now been preliminary ratings of EF3s. The one near Cole, Oklahoma, and the one in Shawnee, Oklahoma, have just been preliminaried as EF3 tornadoes. So, I watched Reed Timmer track it, or not track it, well, yeah, technically tracked it live. He was storm chasing the tornado near Cole, Oklahoma, and that one was like insane. I honestly, like, it was crazy to see how everything just went away within like seconds. Like, he was literally right on top of that tornado pretty much. So that was pretty crazy stuff. In McGregor, Texas, we have a rotating wall cloud report. That's actually the storm back down near Waco. I'm not concerned too much with that storm for a tornado risk, but I mean, I wouldn't rule out something really brief, but it's very low at that cell. There's a lot of rain there. It's not organized either. Is Farmersville, Texas done? I cover North Texas, and I honestly cannot remember where Farmersville is. There's a lot of like small towns around DFW that I just, for some reason, don't remember what those are. Yeah, I know a lot of them, but Farmersville, I think, is about done. Let me just double check. You're not, I wouldn't say you're done, but you're pretty close to done. Make sure if you hear any thunder, just wait like half an hour until actually going outside, because there's some storms still in the area. It'll probably be good in like 30 minutes. There might still be more storms later today, but it is a low threat at this time. A low threat. We are exactly 100 subscribers now from 50,000, by the way. So if you have not already, friendly reminder to hit that red button down below and subscribe. I guarantee you over 100 of you are not subscribed right now. Make sure to subscribe down below. 50,000 is an insane milestone, which is actually unbelievable that we're that close. So make sure to subscribe down below. Here's the latest radar scan on the tornado warning just to the southwest of Princeton, Illinois. We still have rotation here. It's not strong or tight or confined, like as if there's a tornado right now on the ground, but we could see one at any given time. The rotation is definitely strengthening, moving off to the north and east towards Princeton. Again, we do have a lot of hail with this. It does kind of play into a factor with the velocities radar, but that is a lot of hail that we have falling, upwards of ping pong ball sized hail, moving through areas towards Wynett, and near Interstate 80. That's the area that we're seeing a lot of hail right now, damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour, all remaining possible with this ongoing tornado warning cell as it continues to move off to the east-northeast. Again, this tornado warning is currently in Bureau County in Illinois. That's the only county included. There will not be an enhanced risk now. You were wrong that I was going to get 100,000. Yeah, honestly, I knew I wasn't going to get 100,000 subscribers by last Christmas. So, like, there's just no way. It's, like, impossible. I don't really care that much, but, like, you know. I'm projecting if I were to hit 100,000, it would probably be by, like, next February. I mean, I started doing nationwide weather back in, literally, actually, believe it or not, this month is the anniversary month of me going not nationwide, but doing live streams on YouTube. This is the anniversary month. The next month is my anniversary month of doing live streams on YouTube nationwide. I think it was around May like 18th or something. So yeah, crazy stuff. In about a year. Look, main locations included in this tornado warning from now until, like, you know, Princeton or whatever. The only areas that are right now included in this tornado warning would be any of the suburb areas here of Wynett and as well as Buda. That's it. Those are the two locations. The Poset area is kind of out of the track of this now. So you're no longer really included in this particular area of rotation. It is now off to your east. If you're on the eastern side, I would still stay in shelter. But if you're in like the downtown area there, you're probably fine. I don't even have 100 subscribers. Honestly, if people think it's easy to like get subscribers or views or whatever, it is not. It takes a lot of dedication. I'll tell you that. If you ever want to be a YouTuber or anything, to be honest with you, if you ever want to be anything like, you know, in terms of like a Facebook person or YouTube person, like it takes a ton of dedication. And like I have always treated this as if it's just, you know, a passion, and it is. It's never really been anything else, but obviously, recently, it's turned into a bit more of like a job, so, but I still love doing it. There's no aspect of this that I think it's actually a job. Love doing it. Here's the latest radar scan. Again, huge hail core. We're watching for a lot of hail here near Neposet. Sorry, I can't say that name. It's so hard to say that name. But that's going to be south of Sheffield. I know how to say that one. That's where our large hail core is currently located. Tornado risk is existent here. That's where our rotation's located. Moving towards Princeton. Obviously, I usually would have gone to other cells by now, but this has been a bit more of a cell that has a bit more concern. The tornado risk is definitely a bit higher with this storm right now as it moves towards Princeton. The rotation is not really weakened at all at this point. We still have rotation. It's not strong. I would say it's kind of in the moderate stage right now near Buda. And here's the latest radar scan. So these are the winds again going away from the radar. This is going towards the radar. Rotation is, I would still say it's not broad, but it's kind of in the moderate stage right now. We could see this intensify at any time as it continues to move off to the north and east. New update on this warning as well. We are now up to hen egg sized hail. So the hail core is intensified to the point where the National Weather Service does think that there's around hen egg sized hail near Interstate 80 back through 40. Just to the east of Sheffield. And that is a large hail core. Tornado air, the area where there might be a tornado at some point in the next few minutes is located right there where that green circle is. That is a awful color to use. Let me use like black or something. There we go. That's the rotation right there. Excuse me. That is the rotation right there, and then the white area there is the hail core. What do you think East Texas will get hit? East Texas probably will not get hit for another few hours. Depends on where you are, though. East Texas is very big. Thank you, Alejandro, for the 199. How is Lake County, Illinois looking like? If you have not been hit by storms yet, you have a chance in the next few hours. The main threat is damaging winds and hail. We have a confirmed tornado on the ground in Illinois. I'm trying to figure out where this is. Oh, this is actually the storm that we're on. There's a confirmed tornado on the ground right now. Moving off to the north and east, this is now a confirmed tornado. So make sure you seek shelter immediately away from windows, lowest floor possible. If you are included in this warning, again, this is an ongoing tornado on the ground. Has not updated on my end yet, but this storm right now near Buda has an ongoing tornado. Let's go to the velocities. They actually issued a new tornado warning for this. This is the area where the tornado will be located. Correlation coefficient is actually indicating there's clearly a tornado on the ground here. This is moving off to the north and northeast. Let me just see what we... So again, this is an observed tornado. Try to see if this is like... Yeah, so weather spotters just confirmed a damaging tornado located near Buda, about 12 miles to the east of Kawini, moving east at 35 miles per hour. So again, we have an ongoing tornado on the ground, so make sure you seek shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible. This is the latest radar scan. Moving off to the north and east, this is exactly where the tornado is located right now, near Buda. And tornado is right now on the ground. You can see there is debris being lifted up into the atmosphere right there. It's not a whole lot, at least it looks to be a bit on the weaker end, but there is still a tornado live and on the ground, moving towards Princeton and Wynette. Make sure that you're seeking shelter away from windows and lowest floor possible. That is strength, really strong rotation now, moving off to the north and east. If you know any friends, family, anything like that in this region near Princeton, Illinois, make sure you give them a call, text. There is an ongoing tornado on the ground right now, moving off to the northeast towards Wynette. One second. Multitasking here. And where my circle is right now, that is where the tornado is on the ground. It will be approaching Wynette within the next, like, 2 minutes. So you want to make sure that you're getting to your safe place immediately. We do have debris being lifted up in the atmosphere. It did not look to be super significant, but there is definitely some sort of debris being lofted up. You can see where that circle is, right where the rotation is the strongest. We do have some debris being lifted up. And the tornado was confirmed moments ago from weather spotters. The latest update from the National Weather Service, this is back down to radar indicated. So there's probably still some sort of tornado on the ground at this given time, or potentially within the last like minute. This is where that rotation's located. It's right here near Buda. So my guess is if there was a tornado, or if there is still one ongoing, it's probably in the brief variety of things, but that is where, again, that rotation's located. Just to the southwest of Wynette, moving off to the north and east towards Princeton. Also, in addition to this, there is up to hen egg-sized hail possible with this as it moves towards Wynette. Buda is still included in this tornado warning. Yeah, this is an observed tornado, so it's not radar not radar confirmed. It was observed. So my guess is at this point it was probably something on the brief side. Latest radar scan is indicating it is broader now, so we're seeing broader rotation. So it's a little bit less strong than a moment ago, but I still would not rule out that something redevelops here in the next few minutes. So just stay in your safe place if you're in Wynette. That's away from windows, lowest floor possible, interior room of your home or building. We had a pretty clean inflow a second ago. That has really subsided, though, in the last few minutes. In addition to that, we have a lot of hail falling. Upwards of hen egg-sized hail is possible as this storm continues to move off to the east, towards Princeton and northeast. Tornado warning will continue here for the next 30-ish minutes. But obviously, the rotation's going to be moving out of this warning within the next, like, 5 to 10 minutes. Waco, Texas is mainly hail. The storm to your west is going to be producing upwards of golf ball-sized hail. A lot of hail with those storms. Oh, we do have a new tornado warning actually near Waco. There was a wall cloud report with that. I'm going to go to that real quick. We have a tornado warning just south of Waco. Seek shelter immediately away from windows, lowest floor possible if you're included in this tornado warning. We have a lot of wind. There was a wall cloud reported with this. Again, this is just south of Waco. Brand new tornado warning. I do have to screenshot this and post this on Facebook real quickly. But again, brand new tornado warning issued just to the south of Waco. This is near Lorena and Moody. So this is, again, south of Waco. It is an embedded area of rain. So if there's to be a tornado, it would be rain wrapped. There's a ton of rain around this. Let me pull up the velocities. All right, I gotta multitask here. But this is your rotation. It's all in this area. I'm guessing the area of most of the rotation is going to be there near Moody. So again, make sure that you're staying away from windows, lowest floor possible, interior room of your home or building. All right, just posted. So again, that is our new area of rotation. So we right now have two different areas, southwest of Lorena, west of Bruceville Eddy, and near Moody. This is a brand new tornado warning south of Waco. We'll be watching this very closely. We did have a report of a rotating wall cloud with this a little while ago, but this moving off to the east is all rain wrapped. So if you're included in this warning, or if you're like a person that's like, oh, I want to see if there's actually a tornado outside my window, I don't recommend that. There's a lot of rain here. You're not going to be able to see anything. So just stay in your safe place until the storm passes. And rotation's located right now near 317. It's in this area here. Moving off to the east, it's near Moody, and it'll be moving off to the east at around 30 miles per hour. Real quickly, I'm going to go back up to the Illinois storm. This one had a tornado on the ground confirmed moments ago. I don't think it's on the ground anymore. Let me take this tag off. So, let's see. Yeah, there's still some rotation here. It's slightly broader than before. That's near Wynett. Again, this storm is producing hen egg sized hail. That's definitely a bit more of a concern, but we still have a possibility for maybe a tornado embedded in this area. The inflow has become much more cut off here. Large hail core ongoing near Wynett, so there's a ton of hail falling here. There is still a little inflow, but it's pretty weak right now. We'll have to watch this still pretty closely. Again, if you're near Princeton or Wynett, make sure you're getting to your safe place. Princeton, I think you got a few minutes, but definitely keep a close eye on your phone because you might get an alert here in a second that you have a tornado warning. That's what we're seeing there. Let's go back down to... Well, actually, we'll stay on this here for a second in case they do issue a new tornado warning. They might end up issuing a new tornado warning here. I have some photos and videos being sent in. I need to check these out. Yeah, so we have some photos coming out of DFW, some hail. Hail in Forney, this is one of the photos. It's maybe a little bit blurry, but yeah. And some hail. Looks to be around quarter size. It's like a little Pokemon. I don't know why I said that. Kind of looked like it. That was out of Forney, Texas. That's near Rock. That's in Kaufman County. A dime-sized hail was also reported in Forney. Yeah, a lot of reports out of Forney of hail. West Garland was around dime-sized hail a little while ago, but yeah, that's what we've seen so far. We also have a trampoline issue. I talk about this all the time. Trampoline has been completely destroyed in North Texas. So yeah, that's that. There's another trampoline submission. Yeah, and rotation's broader now. They're not actually issued. They've not issued a new tornado warning yet. So we're gonna go ahead and take off this storm for a second. We're gonna go back down to the one south of Waco. Keep a closer eye on this one. There's a reason why I make my my trampoline meters. There's a reason. Today's risk was a medium risk of flying trampolines. You'll see here. That's the risk that we have, a medium risk of flying trampolines. So there's a reason why I have a trampoline meter in place. Is because of those things. All originated from North Texas, where flying trampolines have become very common with these severe weather events. All right, let's go back to the storm. So this is, again, south of Waco. Again, near Moody, Bruceville, and Eddy. This is moving to the east. So if you're in Waco, you're not in the direct path of this tornado warning cell, but you have a lot of rotation here near Moody. That's the area that we have rotation. Very strong winds going away from the radar, winds going towards the radar as well. We have some rotation here. It's not tight and confined. We had a reported wall cloud with this, so there has been a lowering with this cell. But again, we could see a tornado develop at any time as this continues to move off to the east. So if you're near Interstate 35 in Bruceville Eddy, north of Troy, and near Lorena, you want to make sure that you're getting to your safe place away from windows, lowest floor possible. This is what this cell looks like. Again, there is a ton of rain around this area of rotation. You do not want to try to be looking out your window to see, is there a tornado or not? Just stay away from windows until the storm passes. There is a ton of rain. It's going to likely be rain wrapped around Moody. There's also some hail falling back up near McGregor. That is possibly up to golf ball sized hail. That's the area of rotation, though, that right now that I'm noticing just to the south of Moody. Yeah, there's a purpose behind the trampoline meter. For whatever reason, trampolines seem to always be flying around in North Texas. All those photos on that trampoline meter literally came from North Texas. Other than one. One of them actually came from one of my viewers in Illinois. They also had the same issue. There's been some hail damage reported in DFW as well. Some windshield damage, which is typical with hail. But that's a new report that we're having out of there. Some residents are reporting that. Again, this is an ongoing tornado warning near Bruceville Eddy. I keep saying Bruce Eddy. Bruceville Eddy. Again, that's where our rotation's located. Very strong winds going away from the radar, or going towards the radar. Around 60 to 65 miles per hour. Velocities are very strong here near Moody. Yeah, again, I'm very concerned about the risk for a possible tornado here. We do have some inflow going into the storm as well. Hook. This particular area that we have rotation in right now, south of Moody, does not seem to be rain wrapped. So if you're a storm chaser in the area, you might be able to catch something near Interstate 35. Might still be difficult, though. Definitely a very concerning area. Let me double check and see. I don't think the storm right now in Illinois, I don't think it got reissued on a tornado warning. I don't think it has. Yeah, so there's no new tornado warning on the storm in Illinois. This is the main storm right now. That is south, again, of Waco. We're just south of Waco, Texas. About 20, maybe 20 miles. Yeah, I think it's about 20 miles south of Waco. Maybe 25. So, that's the latest there. In McGregor, there's now quarter-sized hail being reported. And some larger hailstones are being reported on the south side. So, there's been some hail still falling with the hail core there. This is originally mainly just a hailstorm, but we've now had a increasing tornado risk, especially with this particular storm. We did have a wall cloud reported not too long ago. That's our area of rotation. We'll be monitoring this very closely as it moves down towards Troy, Texas over the next several minutes. A friendly reminder, if you're just tuning in for the first time, make sure to like the stream. Helps get this out to more people. Again, make sure that you are messaging, calling your friends or family if any of those people are in these tornado warnings or any of the warnings in general. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We are only 30 subscribers from 50,000. Not even kidding. That is a big number. All right, here's the latest radar scan. Again, winds going towards the radar are still much stronger. They're very strong. Winds going away from the radar, they're not overly impressive, but we still have rotation centered here. There's definitely still rotation. It's not tight and confined to the point where I think there's a tornado on the ground right now, but there is definitely some high winds and at least some rotation located here near Troy. Nothing being picked up, though, on the radar in terms of any news right now. There's no current tornado. There's definitely a pretty impressive cell here that we're watching near Moody that's definitely producing some pretty high winds at the bare minimum. And for my friends in Waco, we have a lot of people that watch from Waco. Waco specifically, you're not looking at any severe weather right now. It's just a little storm. I'm not expecting this storm that's tornado warned to impact you by any means. So maybe just some lightning. Lightning's really the main thing. We'll stay on this radar here for a second. This particular storm for the track of where a tornado potential will exist, this is specifically moving more southeast. It's going to be going towards Troy. Temple might be kind of in the path of this, but probably not directly in the path of the tornado warn cell. Lot, Rosebud, Belinda maybe, but you're probably going to be more rain than anything. Yeah, really, it's mainly Lot and Troy that have, in my opinion, the most concern over the next, like, 20 minutes. At least in the short term. Man, you might have to refresh. From what I'm seeing, I'm not having any issues. Police say they saw a funnel cloud, but it did not touch down in Illinois. Gotcha. Yeah, there might have been some sort of funnel cloud there. Somebody said there was I mean, originally there was a confirmed tornado. I'm not sure if that's entirely accurate or not, but there was a confirmed tornado there. At least from what I saw. Some weather spotter confirmed something, but I'm not entirely 100% sure if that's accurate or not. Not sure. Also, new report coming out of Troy, Texas. There is a rotating wall cloud that has now just been reported. Again, well-defined wall cloud near Troy, Texas. Again, this is a tornado-warning cell in really central Texas kind of now. We're south of Waco. Another well-defined wall cloud was just reported. You might notice here, if we go a little bit higher up into the atmosphere, very strong rotational loft, which would indicate most likely some sort of lowering. This is the most recent scan closer to the surface. So we still have some strong rotation north and west of Troy. A tornado could drop at any time as this continues to move off to the east. Just started raining in Waco. Thank you for the report. Yeah, Waco is going to not... Waco specifically is not looking at severe weather with this cell. And most recent report, as of literally 3 minutes ago, there was a rotating wall cloud here near Troy, Texas. We'll continue to move off to the east over the next several minutes. But again, this is only a few miles away from Troy. Main area of rotation is back up in here right now. Go back over to the reflectivity, just kind of match that up. So yeah, it's right in there. That's where the rotation's located, near Troy. If you're in Troy, I would recommend that you get to your safe place as this storm does continue to move off to the east, where our rotation's located. Just south, again, we're south of Waco in Texas. Be keeping a close eye on this, though, over the next few minutes. High winds are guaranteed pretty much with this, though. I mean, if you're anywhere near Bruce Eddy or Troy, you're going to see high winds regardless. Maybe not a tornado, but you'll probably at least see some damaging winds around 60 to 65. So I at least recommend that you are staying away from windows with that damaging wind potential existing. Yeah, if you guys are having issues with hearing me, it's probably your internet. Because from what I'm seeing, I'm not having any issues, so. Turn off, turn back on. It's probably just YouTube. Also, in East Peoria, we just had a report in Illinois of quarter-sized hail, so there's still some hail falling up that direction. For those that are still included in this tornado warning, it is Moody, Bruce Villetti, as well as Seago. Those are the 3 locations included in this warning. I think that this is a bit more of a concerning area here. Near Troy. Let's go back to the reflectivity. Yeah, this is a concerning area right here. Very strong rotation. Located near Troy. Doesn't seem like there's a tornado on the ground yet, but we have very tight rotation starting to develop now near Troy. It seems to be the main area now for rotation. I would not be surprised if we have a new tornado warning here in a moment. Trying to see if we can get an upper level view on this as well. A little higher up in the atmosphere. We're not getting anything yet. This is closer to the surface. It looks to be that our stronger area of rotation is located just a couple miles to the northwest of Troy, Texas. Yeah, if you're in Troy, I'd recommend that you seek shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible. Seems to be a bit of a strengthened area of rotation here near Troy. This tornado warning in particular is moving more to the southeast. It's probably going to be going through rural areas, but Troy is really the main area in the track of this ongoing rotating cell. So that's the area of rotation, moving down to the south and east. So, okay, if you're in Troy, seek shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible. Away from windows. We do have a new tornado warning in Illinois. I do want to go to that really quickly. Because these ones have been producing tornadoes a little bit quicker. We actually have a tornado warning in Peoria, believe it or not. This literally just got issued. Seek shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible, interior room of your home or building. If you're in Peoria, this is your hail core. We have a lot of area of hail. Main hail core is back up here near Peoria Heights. Another one back near Urtonville. Let's go to the velocities on this. Again, I'm not seeing anything too strong at this point in terms of the velocities. We'll go back a second here and see if anything's evolved. Or pick out an area here. But it looks like the main area of rotation, which isn't too strong yet, is in this area here near Peoria Heights. So it's just to the northeast of the downtown area of Peoria. If you're in this area, make sure you're seeking shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible, and in an interior room of your home or building. Again, this is a brand new tornado warning here for Peoria. We'll be watching this cell very closely. It's a lot of hail, though, without a doubt here. There's definitely some hail. Upwards of potentially, ping pong ball. It's not out of the question. Had some quarter-sized hail, though, reported moments ago. And in central Illinois near Peoria. We'll be keeping a very close eye on this storm. I think right now we're going to mainly focus on this storm. We'll be watching the tornado warning storm near Troy. But this is a very populated area. So we're going to keep a closer eye on this one for now. Yeah, the storm near Bruceville, I'm not overly confident that we have an ongoing tornado, but definitely some strong rotation. Again, the one here near Peoria Heights has more concern, in my opinion, for the next few minutes. Rotation is definitely stronger here on this side of the storm right now. So it's just a couple miles to the northeast of Peoria. They'll be going towards Germantown Hills, Washington, Metamora are going to be in the track of the rotation. And eventually going towards Roanoke, Eureka, south of Washburn. Those areas will be in the track of this tornado warning. Or tornado warning cell with the rotation that we're seeing just to the north and northeast there of Peoria. How's it going, SJ? This cell in particular is not heading towards Bloomington, no. The storm's moving off to the east-northeast. Also, we have some significant damaging winds associated with the storms near Princeton. Just a little heads up there for those a bit further off to the north in Illinois. Damaging winds around 70 miles per hour are currently ongoing back up near Princeton with that cluster of storms. New radar scan is coming in literally right now, so I'll have an update on where that rotation's located. I'm going to refresh the radar so we can see that. And here's the rotation. So again, strong rotation is developing near Germantown Hills. This is going to be approaching Germantown Hills. That's what I should say. So Germantown Hills, you'll be impacted by the storm within the next 3 to 4 minutes. Get to your safe place right now. Strengthening rotation right now near Peoria Heights, northwest of Washington. Correlation coefficient is not indicating any sort of tornado right now, but that is the area of rotation associated with an ongoing tornado warning. Again, this is just off to the northeast of Peoria. That is where the rotation is centered. Near Peoria Heights, moving towards Germantown Hills. Make sure you're seeking shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible. If you're in the downtown area of Peoria, still stay in your safe place because there is still some hail and damaging winds, but the main area of rotation is back in that black circle, so northeast of the downtown area. Thank you, Ace, for the $5 super chat. Aurora, Illinois. I'll check that out. If you're just tuning in, again, this is a ongoing tornado warning storm for Peoria, Illinois. The area of rotation is in that black circle there. This is going to be approaching Germantown Hills and Metamora. So if you're in Germantown Hills, you need to get to your safe place right now. If you're over in Metamora, you're going to want to get to your safe place within the next few minutes. Aurora will be mainly a damaging wind threat, but the tornado risk also exists over there. That'll be in about an hour or so. All right, let's go back over to the velocities again. And that is your rotation right there. It is strengthening. It's becoming more organized. So that's definitely a concern with this. As it moves towards Germantown Hills, Metamora will be in the track of this. Long-term in this tornado warned polygon, it will be areas like Roanoke, Eureka, and Secor. But I think this is going to be probably staying in a track along 116 and 117. But if you're in Secor or Eureka, keep a very, very close eye right now on the live stream. We'll keep you posted. But obviously, I have multiple ways to receive alerts, get to your safe place, all that sort of stuff. All right, here's the latest radar scan. Rotation is now located only about a mile, maybe a mile and a half west-southwest of Germantown Hills. That's your rotation. Again, it's not tight and confined. We don't have an ongoing tornado on the ground right now, but we could see one at any time. if you're a storm chaser in the area, it is not rain wrapped, so you should be able to see it. But again, if you're anyone if you're in a home, building, anything like that, get to your safe place. Don't try to look outside your window. This is a very quick moving cell. You do not want to get caught up in this ongoing potential tornado. It could drop at any time. Moving off again to the east, northeast through Germantown Hills and Metamora. This warning goes until 5:15 Central Time. Little update. We do have another tornado warning. I think this is an old one though. Let me just double check. We have another tornado warning that just got issued. Yeah, we have another tornado warning south of Waco. Again, I must say mainly on the Peoria storm. But we'll keep a close eye on that if anything develops there. Again, very populated area. For those that have no clue what I'm looking at, this is the main area of rotation. Red indicates winds going away from the radar. Green indicates going towards the radar. That is counterclockwise spin. This is where the rotation's located. So if there were to be a tornado to drop at any time in the next few minutes, it is going to be a couple miles there to the east of Peoria Heights and near Germantown Hills. So make sure you're staying in your safe place, away from windows, lowest floor possible. And we're only a few subscribers from 50,000, so make sure to subscribe down below. Again, we do live streams like this all the time. Keep you posted with the latest on all these severe storms. Again, the new tornado warning does include Bell and Falls County in Texas. Those two counties are included. This storm specifically is heading towards Metamora in the next few minutes. That's like the main area in the next few minutes in the track of this. Roanoke will also be in the track. Benson will be in the track of this eventually, just to the south of Washburn. Those are the main locations in the track of this ongoing tornado warning cell. That is the rotation. Next radar scan's coming in here in just a second, and it just did. Let's go ahead and get that. All right, here is the ongoing rotation. Latest radar scan showing it's literally about to be over top of Germantown Hills. So again, if you've not already and you're in Germantown Hills, or if you know any friends or family that are in this area, make sure they're getting to their safe place immediately. There's ongoing rotation literally overhead of Germantown Hills. If there's to be a tornado, that is where it's going to be located. This will eventually go into Metamora, north of Washington. It's going to be just to your north. So if you're in the downtown area of Washington, you're okay. But if you're on the northern side of Washington, get to your safe place. Peoria is no longer included in this ongoing tornado warning. Peoria Heights is also not included in this tornado warning anymore. The rotation is located to your east. This area where that circle is, that is representing the rotation going towards Metamora over the next few minutes. Just make sure you're seeking shelter. That's the rotation. I'll zoom out a little bit so you get the general town names here. There we go. That's probably the best view we'll get of all these areas. So that's, again, where the rotation's located. Go back over to the reflectivity. Again, there's definitely... It's a very interesting looking cell from this radar site. We do have a pretty large hail core near Spring Bay. Another one near 24. A little bit of a hook, it looks like, trying to form there. It's a very weird looking supercell. Let's go over to the correlation coefficient. Again, no debris being lifted up into the atmosphere at this given time, but we could again see a tornado at any time. That's where the rotation's located. It's again about a mile to the southwest of German Hills. If not, it's already over top of you. Peoria is clear. I've mentioned that a few times. You are clear from this ongoing tornado warning cell. But you are still looking at some hail and maybe some gusty winds in that area for the next few minutes. We do have reports coming in out of Peoria of quarter-sized hail. There's not been any reports in the last few minutes of any sort of ongoing tornado, funnel cloud, wall cloud. We've had no reports of that. Obviously, there could be one. We just had no reports of that so far. The severe thunderstorm warning, by the way, just got upgraded to golf ball-sized hail. That is an upgrade on the warning. So the locations that are still included in this tornado warning are Germantown Hills, which is what we're on right now, Metamora, Roanoke. Those are the main locations that have the most concern about this rotation in the next few minutes. The other areas that I still have some concern about is Washington, Eureka, and Secord. They're on the southern side of this polygon. You're literally, like this area right here, a horrible circle, but like this is basically where we're looking at. It's on the southern side. If for whatever reason rotation starts to either strengthen on one of these southern side areas of this little cluster that we're seeing here near Peoria, or if the rotation that we're seeing here that was a bit stronger, looks like a weaken in the latest scan, but if it does end up taking a bit more of a right-hand turn, those areas might be in kind of the threat. So keep that in mind if you're a little bit further down to the south. But the latest radar scan is showing now broader rotation. Our main area of rotation is still up here. It's not as strong as before, though. And you'll notice here, even back near Washington, very weak winds overall, not very strong rotation, which is good news. But we definitely have some high winds, without a doubt. But the rotation that we're really most concerned about is back up here near 116. So we'll still be watching that closely, but it has broadened out in the latest radar scan. It's very, very good news. And no reports so far. All right, real quick, we're going to go back to the storm down near Waco, since that storm is weakened just for the time being. We'll go back up to that in a moment. But back near Waco, this is, again, the storm. This is south of Waco. That's still tornado warning near Lott, Marlin, and Troy. Rotation also on this storm is not very strong. It's broad right now. Again, I would not rule out a tornado in the next few minutes. But for right now, there's no organized area of rotation. Just make sure you're staying away from windows, lowest floor possible, in an interior room of your home or building, and your safety place if you're in Marlin, Lott, or Troy. This time, it looks like the rotation is fairly broad on this cell, so not too concerned about that for right now. A lot of hailstorms, obviously. We're going to be primarily focusing on any of the tornado warnings that we have ongoing. We'll go back up to this one near Metamora. No problem, Ryan. Appreciate the $1.99. Funnel clouds, possible tornado in Princeton, Illinois. Local scanner spotter confirmed. All right, so we have a potential report there of at least some sort of funnel cloud in near Peoria. Again, that was from somebody in the chat, but sometimes they're accurate, sometimes they're not. I would not rule out that there was at least some sort of funnel cloud. Actually, no, now we do have confirmation on a different cell. The one in Bruceville, Eddy, Texas, just had a report literally 1 minute ago of a brief funnel on the leading edge of a wall cloud. That was about 2 miles east-southeast there of Bruce Eddyville. But we've had no at least confirmed reports yet of funnel clouds or even a tornado near the Peoria area. Again, Peoria is no longer included in this tornado warning. It's only for Metamora and Roanoke. Eureka, Washington, and Secor are not included in this tornado warning anymore. It's just Metamora and Roanoke. Rotation's located right in there. It's becoming a bit more rain-wrapped, but back to the velocities here. Latest radar scan is coming in right now. Have an idea of where that rotation is. And again, that's where the rotation is. It's not very strong. It's at this point kind of broadened out a bit, but it could strengthen again. So we'll be watching this very closely as it goes through Metamora and as well as Roanoke, going towards Benson, and as well as near Washburn. A close eye on it. How's it going, Brandy? Better than the news. Thank you. Appreciate it. A lot of stuff to cover. Honestly, if you're under a tornado warning, I kind of do recommend that you do look at the news if you have it. If you're like local and there's like a big like widespread outbreak, that's kind of what I mean. Because a lot of the time when we have, you know, huge severe weather events like this where they're stretching from Wisconsin to Texas, there is a lot of stuff to cover. And if there's a tornado, if there's like 3 or 4 tornado warnings, I'm only gonna be able to go over 1 most of the time, or 2, like within a few minutes. So it's a lot more difficult when that sort of stuff happens, which we kind of have that going right now. There's 2 tornado warnings. This is the one that I'm more concerned about. The one down in just south of Waco has a chance to produce a tornado, but it's a fairly rural area, which kind of makes it, you know, a little bit less needed for right now. The one here, though, has definitely some potential of producing a tornado as it goes through Metamora and Roanoke. Football, probably not too bad. Probably not too bad. All right, I'm going to wait for this next radar scan, and we'll see what happens in the next scan. And if there's nothing too crazy, I'm going to take like a 30-second bathroom break, because I've been sitting for 2.5 hours, and I have not had a chance to take a break. There's been so much severe weather. We still have, how many warnings do we have? We have 24 warnings ongoing right now. There's so many. 2 tornado warnings, 1 in Texas, 1 down, or up here, I should say, in Illinois. We have 22 severe thunderstorm warnings. It has been a very active afternoon, excuse me, so far. It's been an unbelievable active afternoon. I cannot speak. Active afternoon, though, so far. The rain was being thrown against the window. Yeah, I mean, if you're in Peoria, there was definitely probably some blowing rain, if not even maybe some blowing hail, if there was any over that direction. It could have even been some small hail with this storm. This storm has a lot of hail. I mean, look at this thing. It's become a very... This storm's been going for a while now. I mean, this has been a multi-hour supercell. We have strong upper level winds, and what that helps to do is intensify the updrafts and make them last longer. And the problem is with this storm, it's been in that sort of environment where it just has such strong updrafts. It's been ongoing for a while, but rotation's weakening very quickly. That's great news. We are looking at more of hail threat right now, and the one near Pekin is also producing hail, but this one's definitely producing around golf ball sized hail as it moves off to the east northeast. Thank you here for the $2 super chat. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, I'm going to real quickly take a 1-minute break. I'll be back in 1 minute. Stay tuned. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. After the break, I'll be going over all the tornado warnings and the severe thunderstorm warnings. Stay tuned. We'll be back in 1 minute. While I take a quick break, I just wanted to give you a friendly reminder to hit that red button down below and subscribe. That way you never miss an accurate and honest forecast from Max Velocity. Also, make sure to hit that bell icon and click all so you receive all notifications when I go live or I have a video forecast for you. Also, hit the like button down below as well. Helps our page out a lot. And if you're feeling generous and you want to support our page above and beyond, you can become a member for as little as $2.99 per month. All you need to do is click that little join button and you can select from 4 different tiers, which will give you different benefits from bloopers access to exclusive forecasts. You will also get a shout out here on our live stream. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. Let's go back to this. All right, we're still on a tornado warning. We got 2 ongoing. Let's go back over to the velocities again. Yeah, this one's not too concerning for right now. We have another radar scan coming in a second, so I'll go over that in a moment. I'm not going to go over it yet. Actually, it's coming in now, so we'll go over that. If there's any rotation still remaining with this storm northeast of Peoria, we'll stay on it. But if it's not really rotating as much, we're going to go back down to the south for that Texas supercell. And yeah, we're not really looking at anything too crazy here. Stay in shelter if you're in Roanoke or Metamora in Illinois. Again, northeast of Peoria, but it looks to be like a cell that's kind of weakening in terms of its rotation. By the way, look at all these hail reports. This supercell near St. Louis has been insane. I do want to quickly put a 2-hour loop on this, because this cell has been a long track supercell. It's been producing some significant hail. But, like, it has been producing hail for a while. This supercell has literally been producing hail for a long time. It is now weakening near Jerseyville in Illinois, but, yeah, this was a pretty impressive supercell. It peaked near Winfield. Peaked for a little while there. All right, never mind. We're going to go back down over... Actually, wait, no, that's old. Okay, I was about to say that. Never mind. All right, let's go back to Waco. South of Waco, we have an ongoing tornado warning here near Lott. I think I'm going to have to refresh my software because it's glitching out. But let's go see if there's any rotation on this anymore. We had a recent report of a wall cloud with this and a funnel cloud briefly. That's your rotation to the southeast of Troy. Again, I'm not overly impressed with the rotation here. It's not that strong. However, I would stay in your safe place just in case. This is just to the southwest of Lott right now. It's moving a bit more to the southeast, so Rosebud, Texas will be in the track of this. This is to the east of Temple, so hail threat is more concerning, but we are still looking at a potential for maybe a quick tornado with that. It's definitely going to be a brief threat. All right, let me refresh my software so it doesn't glitch out again. See how pixel it is. Friendly reminder, if you're just tuning in, make sure to like the video and subscribe. Or live stream. All right, let's go back over to here. Set the stream all back up. We're not under a PDS tornado. It's just glitched out. We'll do that, and we are good. All right. I don't think there's any other tornado warnings, right? Yeah, so this is the main one. We'll stay on this one for now. Actually, no, we're gonna go back up to the north. I'm very indecisive. We're gonna go back to the one in Peoria for now. I'm not really impressed with either one right now in terms of the rotation. They're just not very strong. This one also is kind of in that same boat. And pretty weak in the last few minutes. It's more of a hail threat right now. A lot of hail. That's without a doubt. There's a lot of hail. That's about it. Also, we have officially, I saw this during the tornado warnings, but I didn't want to, like, you know, we're under tornado warnings. We've officially hit 50,000 subscribers. That's unbelievable. Officially, that's actually incredible. I would have never thought, and honestly, I didn't think we'd hit it today, but I do appreciate all the support. Never would have thought we'd get to 50,000 subscribers. That's just insane. Appreciate all the support. And, yeah, it's pretty big milestone. You know, usually, like, you know, 30, 40,000 wasn't, like, huge. 50,000 is huge, huge. So, I do appreciate all the support. I wish I captured it live, but we had tornado warnings, so I'd rather do that than, you know. I do appreciate all the support. I don't have any other reactions. It's pretty much just a speechless reaction, but I do appreciate 50,000 subscribers. Unbelievable. Would have never thought. I started doing weather live streams on YouTube about a year ago from today. First ever one I did, I think, was like April 1st, but sometime around there. I do appreciate all the support a lot. This is a cool time lapse that one of our Discord users sent. Toyson, or yeah, I think it's Toyson, maybe. This is the storms in, I think, DFW. This is in Grayson County. A little cool time lapse. I love looking at time lapses. If you guys ever get a time lapse of storms, definitely feel free to send them in. They're really cool. See all the storms just blowing up though. DFW. All right, let's go back over to the velocities here. And rotation's weakening out. Tornado warning will be let to expire. This is turning into more of a hail threat right now for those in central Illinois. The storms back over to the west of Chicago. These are all damaging winds and large hail right now. Nothing too crazy in terms of the tornado risk right now over this direction. Let's go to the velocities and just check out these cells, because there might be a little bit of rotation, but I don't think it's too crazy. Yeah, the storm near Mendota is not concerning. A little bit of broad rotation near Rochelle. And there's also some rotation near Poplar Grove. That's the other one that I have a little bit of concern about, but nothing too crazy right now in the short term. A lot of hail for sure back up that direction. We're going to stay on this storm for one more radar scan, and then we'll probably go down to the one in Texas again. Nightbot keeps saying hi. Yeah, if you say hi or hey, it says hi to you. I coded it that way like a year ago, so it's kind of one of those things I have to fix, and I have not fixed. How's it going, Brian? I don't think Rochelle wants to do anything with rotation again. Yeah, there's a little bit. There's not a whole lot. I mean, it's very broad. A lot of the rotation that we're seeing in Illinois is very broad right now. I still think maybe within the next 30 to 45 minutes we get something kind of going, but I mean, even up here, like if we go to Rochelle right here, there's nothing even organized. Just rain, maybe a little bit of hail, but there's nothing really organized here. There's a little bit on the storm relative velocities if we go to that. Yeah, you can see here there's like a little bit, but it's nothing crazy. I'm not too concerned about it. It's more of just gusty winds, maybe a little bit of hail. The storm here was warned for 70-mile-per-hour damaging winds, but I'm guessing that threat has subsided. We haven't really looked outside of the tornado warnings in the last like 45 minutes, so been very busy with the tornado warnings. All right, let's go down to the south again. We'll go back down to the Texas tornado warning. Real quickly, I didn't even realize this. We have tennis ball-sized hail potential right now east of DFW. I do have to post this on Facebook. Real quick, but yeah, again, potential for tennis ball-sized hail right now ongoing over here near DFW. Okay, I did not mean to do that. Dang it. Ball-sized hail is falling in Kaufman County. Alive. Alright. Again, there's currently tennis ball sized hail potential in Kaufman County. I don't know how long this has been ongoing. Again, we've been really caught up on the same storm for a while with the tornado warnings, but there is a possibility here for tennis ball sized hail near Terrell and Kaufman. Let's go back a little bit just to see. I'm not sure when this got upgraded. Might have been with the initial warning. So at 5-ish, it was only a few minutes ago. Yeah, tennis ball sized hail is possible with this cell. I'm guessing there's been some sort of report up that direct. Yeah, so 2 to 2.5 inch diameter hail has been confirmed near Crandall. That's in Kaufman County. So tennis ball sized hail has been confirmed here. That's the largest hail that we've seen so far today. And the other cell, we're actually seeing another cell. This is behind the dry line, and any cells that we see behind the dry line aren't going to pose much of a threat of severe weather. But there's a small one there north of Arlington, which is a possibility this evening. There's a chance for a couple of cells, but they will not be too crazy in sort of the nature that we have here. Here's the tornado warning. I don't think we have anything too crazy here either, but we're going to double check. Yeah, very broad rotation right now east of Temple. More of a wind and hail threat here across areas near Temple. Again, I'm not too concerned about that right now. Something to watch out for, though. Still tornado warning. Stay in shelter just in case, but I think this is a weakening cell in terms of the tornado risk. It's still producing a lot of wind and damaging winds as well as hail. Austin, Texas will be mainly damaging winds and hail. Anywhere in Texas, the main concern is hail and damaging winds, but again, you might see an isolated tornado. We have obviously had a rotating cell for quite a while south of Waco. It has not materialized into anything. I cannot say that word, but hasn't really, developed into anything that crazy, but it is still producing, some very broad rotation. It might develop into something later on, but otherwise it's not that crazy. This is probably the most crazy cell we've had so far. Tennis ball sized hail over here in, DFW area. I love tennis ball sized hail. All right. Tennis ball sized hail has become a very big meme on the channel. Roanoke, Illinois is just hail right now, by the way. I think I had somebody ask about that. The Roanoke storm no longer tornado warned. It is mainly a hail threat. And that goes for like any storms right now in Illinois. They are all hail and damaging winds. There's obviously a chance for a tornado, but right now there's not. All the rotation's been fairly weak so far. But we will keep you posted if anything changes. Half dollar sized hail was confirmed over in Polo, Illinois, which is a delayed report. That's the latest there. We have some other hail reports, a lot of them minimal, but we have had a lot of hail in Illinois. A lot of it's like kind of on the smaller end of things, but the most severe storms in Illinois have produced up to golf ball sized. Recently, we've had nothing that high. What do you think about the storm behind that one that just went through Peoria? That one's going to be more of a hail threat, I think. I don't think there's going to be much of a tornado risk with that. Let's go back up to here. Yeah, the storm that just went through Peoria is going to be more of a hail threat once it goes through areas like Cornell, as well as Streeter, Fanatic. Those areas are going to be mainly hail. Damaging winds is also possible, but I'm not foreseeing anything beyond that at this point. Like, there might be some isolated tornado threat down the road, but the cell overall has not been organized for a while. Now, if it can reorganize itself, it's a different story, but right now there's nothing that I'm too concerned about in the near future with this. Right. They saw their rotation here. There's definitely a possibility. I've had a lot of people say that before, like, I think I saw rotation in the clouds where I am. There might be. There's always a chance. Like, some of these upper level, there might be some, like, upper level rotation with these clouds, or not really upper level, but, like, like lower level rotation, but kind of in the clouds. It's possible. Like, what you see here right now, there could be some very weak and, like, very, like, maybe a little bit of rotation, but it's probably not much. I mean, the winds are very weak. There's not anything that's actually defined. There's no reason to be concerned about a tornado right now with this. It's definitely a hail threat. You can see the huge hail core right now near Benson. It is massive. In terms of the hailstone size, it's probably around golf ball size near Roanoke. So, yeah, we're definitely looking at that. I'm not seeing anything, though, in terms of a tornado risk with this right now. It was obviously tornado warned before, but I do think that threat is starting to go down with that cell specifically. Now, we could see some with these northern cells in the suburbs of Chicago. We'll watch those closely, but a lot of this right now has been weaker than forecasted. I did expect maybe an isolated, like another supercell or two to develop out here. We haven't had that so far, which is great news, but we obviously might see that increase over the next hour. The cells that have developed out in front of the dry line have been these ones that are now in the Great Lakes. There was a little bit of hail near Evanston, but that was kind of when we had the tornado warnings ongoing. For our viewers back over in Springfield, there's a small cell moving through your area for quarter-sized hail. That's the only threat. Another one down to the south of that in southern Illinois near Litchfield, or just to the west of there, that's producing quarter-sized hail. And then further to the south of that, we still have a couple of warnings in a radar hole area. I don't know if we have any radar sites nearby, but there's a couple of storms south of Farmington. In southeast Missouri, these are producing quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. A lot of rain, by the way. That rain could lead to some flooding. No warnings in Arkansas. The only exception is one singular warning near Queen, and that is just for some quarter-sized hail. And we also have some other storms over here near Mount Pleasant producing similar threats right now. The one east of Terrell, I mentioned this before, but this storm right now in Terrell, near Kaufman, that's where we're seeing the hail threat. It's around tennis ball sized hail, so we have significant hail falling back over here east of Dallas. Cat, I already am. I just hit 50,000. Just hit 50,000 subscribers, which is crazy. The tornado warning is still ongoing for Falls County, Texas. I'm not going to really talk about it much, but if anything redevelops there, we'll watch it closely. But that storm's been weakening for a while. Not too concerned about that. No new reports on any of the other cells, which is good news. Let me check my photos and videos, and nothing too crazy with that either. If you have any photos or videos of today's storms, you can always send them to me on Twitter. That Twitter handle is @MaxVelocityWX. There's also links down below. And in addition to that, you can also find other links to send them by Facebook, Instagram, that sort of stuff. If you have any photos or videos. Let me go back over to here. Big rapid. Anywhere in Michigan is not going to see severe weather. You might get like an isolated storm, but I wouldn't expect severe weather there. All right, let's go back down to these storms down south of Waco. Still have a tornado warning ongoing near Lot. Again, I'm not overly concerned about this right now. The winds are not very strong, or the velocities are not very tight confined or strong, so I'm not concerned about that right now. There is still some wind west a lot we'll have to watch for closely, but again, I'm not overly concerned about the storm here that's moving off to the east with the tornado warning cell. But again, I would still stay in shelter at least for the few minutes, but overall, it is definitely weaker than before. Weakening. Not too strong. Multitasking. Lots of lightning as well. Actually, coming up soon, I'm going to be putting lightning on the map so you can actually see how much lightning these storms have. I will be adding that to the stream soon, so you'll be able to see like the lightning with these cells. Little thunderstorm developing in DFW, by the way. Again, anything that develops behind the storms that we've already seen will probably be on the weaker side of things. So, again, tennis ball sized hail potential right now exists back near Kaufman County. We'll continue to move off to the east. Actually, let's pull up the hail radar. Check that out. So this is the hail radar near Kaufman County. You can see here, that's where all the hail is right now near Kaufman. A lot of hail falling. That's probably somewhere in the range of tennis ball size. This actually indicates around $quarter to $half sized hail, but obviously we've had reports of tennis ball sized hail now. A lot of the most recent reports have been around golf ball size, like the most recent, but that's most recent that we've had was like half an hour ago. So we've had nothing recent on this cell, but the overall reflectivity on the storm has not changed much. So I'm still guessing it's probably in the range of 2-inch diameter hail at the probably around that near Kaufman and Oak Ridge. Overall, not too bad there. We have plenty of severe weather still ongoing in Illinois. Again, we have several severe storms. None of these are producing tornadoes right now. None of them really rotating either. Let's go to the velocities. I'll kind of take you storm by storm to see if any of these are actually rotating. But one little area of rotation near Poplar Grove. Again, it's not very strong. Pretty weak rotation right now. That's over near Poplar Grove. That'll be going into Wisconsin, so southern Wisconsin will be in the track of that. More of a hail threat. This storm as well near DeKalb as well as Elburn. That's in the suburb, kind of on the west, very western side there. The suburbs of Chicago. Not really any sort of rotation there. It's just hail. The storm also near Pawpaw and Irville is not rotating really at all. There's like very small areas of like not really rotation, but maybe something possibly later on. The storm's back over to the southwest of the Chicago suburbs, so near Streator and as well as Cornell. These are not really rotating either, but there is at least some wind happening with them, and as well as hail. Main hail core is located near Benson, so this is just the west of Cornell in Illinois. That is your main hail core, but elsewhere, again, not really any rotating cells right now, which is great news. There was like a slightly higher tornado risk today here, like a 5% probability within a 25-mile radius, but so far, we have not really had that, which is good news. It's been more of hail and damaging winds. See you later, Connie. Yeah, Aurora is kind of on the cusp of a severe thunderstorm warning here. It's for $half sized hail. These storms have not been overly impressive. You know, I've been mentioning that a lot, but a lot of these storms are not that impressive. The one here near St. Charles, or approaching St. Charles, is maybe $half sized hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds, but no tornado risk right now at these cells, which is great news. But we still could see an isolated tornado, so have a tornado action plan in place, just in case there is any sort of tornado risk in the next hour or two. I'm not too concerned about that right now. Looks like a bust today. This is not a bust, trust me. This is nowhere near a bust. We have a slight risk of severe weather. Having a bust on a slight risk of severe weather is very difficult. And honestly, I think this is performed pretty much as it was expected, if not maybe even a bit better than what was, or a bit like, you know, not better, like, you know what I mean, but like more like intense than what it was actually supposed to be. I think that's kind of where we've been at today. There's been a lot more severe weather. I honestly, like with what we've seen, a slight risk makes sense, but even like an extra storm or two would have probably prompted an enhanced risk of severe weather in the Midwest. Back down here in like western Illinois and back through Missouri, it's been pretty much around a slight risk of severe weather, in my opinion. The North Texas and anywhere in Texas really has been so far in the slight risk of severe weather. I wouldn't really think any of this would have been enhanced. Maybe central, maybe kind of the only enhanced risk that I really thought would have happened today would have been down like in here, for this area. That's like the only area, and I mentioned that on yesterday's video, but otherwise I didn't really foresee much of a enhanced risk actually happening. And a small size hail potential still exists, by the way, near Kaufman, east of Dallas. But yeah, this is nowhere near a bust. No problem, Jordan. Thank you, by the way, for everybody subscribing. If you've not already, make sure to like the stream and subscribe if you're new here. I'll be live for a little longer, see if anything ends up developing. A lot of the storms that we're seeing right now is hail. We have a lot of hailstorms, especially down here near San Antonio. Around San Antonio. Not in San Antonio, but like around it. We have plenty of hailstorms here. A lot of them $half to ping pong ball sized hail. There's also another one up here actually near Brady. It's producing some $half sized hail. Radar hole there. But near Waco is really the only... Again, we still have a tornado warning ongoing, which is surprising to me. Look if there's any rotation on this. There's a lot of wind, right? I've not really seen a whole lot of rotation ever since the storm really begun back west of Lorena, west of Interstate 35. Ever since, it's been more of a wind thing. There was a report earlier of a funnel cloud briefly near Bruceville Eddy, but even then I don't think there's much of anything with this storm to begin with. There has been a wall cloud a couple of times, though. There might still be a wall cloud, too. There's a lot of wind. That's kind of where we're at this point. There's a lot of wind, probably around 60 miles per hour, maybe a bit higher. You see these brighter colors on the velocities, that represents higher wind speeds, but otherwise we've not really seen anything too out of the ordinary with the cell. Which is good news. Here's the latest radar scan. So highest winds right now near the 7 and 77 intersection, south of Golinda, north of Lot. We do have a new mesoscale discussion for those in the Midwest. Let's talk about that. This is the latest mesoscale discussion. So it's going to be in this dashed area that's kind of moving around. So it's basically eastern and southeastern Wisconsin back through Illinois and a very small sliver of northwest Indiana. The only thing that the Storm Prediction Center has basically mentioned is that the severe weather threat will continue into the evening, which we still have a lot of severe storms out there. None of these are too significant right now. A lot of them are, 60 mile per hour damaging winds, ping pong ball sized hail. That's like the maximum threat right now, but we still could see an isolated tornado risk with these storms as they continue to move into the suburbs of Chicago. And one cell in particular that I might have a bit more concern about is the one here near Leland. There is a little hook developing. Little hook. Got an inflow as well. Clean inflow. This is where a tornado would be located. There is some rotation trying to develop here near Sandwich. This is actually an area that we had a huge hailstorm in back on that one big severe weather outbreak a couple weeks ago. But this is starting to intensify a little bit. All right, let's go over to velocities again. Again, we have a little bit of rotation here. This is a concern. Any of these cells that become discrete are going to have a greater chance of a tornado risk, and this one has become a bit discrete here, so it'll be something to watch for, sure, as that moves off to the east. Cells back here near Streeter and Eureka are not as bad, though. One near Sandwich I have a bit more concern about, though, as that continues to move off to the east. Yeah, Pawpaw and Sandwich. Yeah, that was the area that we had serious hail. I think it was, I can't remember what the hailstone size was, but it was up there. I think it was golf ball, maybe tennis ball sized hail at the maximum. We had some pretty nasty cells here. That was one of the outbreaks. I can't remember which one. That was the second one. The first outbreak, one of the largest tornado outbreaks in history of the United States. The first one, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the second one, which was not the largest. That was also a moderate risk of severe weather day. All right. If you have any questions, feel free to leave those in the chat. I'll be answering a few questions. But honestly, I really do think the severe weather threat, it's not like over by any means, but it's really going to be mainly hail and damaging winds from here on out. The tornado risk does exist, with like a discrete cell like this, but overall much, I'd say lower, but it's not nearly as bad as before. A little bit of rotation near Harvard as well. Yeah, the cell west of Sandwich would probably be the only one that I actually have concern about, at least in the short term. There might be another cell like an hour or two that develops rotation, but this one definitely has a chance. So we'll watch the next radar scan to see if anything develops here. But this cell probably has the best chance in the short term of producing a tornado risk. Right in here, that's where the risk is right there. Next radar scan is coming in right now. So we'll check it out, see what happens. There's actually a tornado possible label on this. I didn't realize that. But it does have rotation. For sure. Am I concerned about Arkansas? Not really, no. Just hail and damaging winds. Arkansas is actually probably the state that I'm least concerned about out of all the states that are in watches. Which, I mean, like, as in, like, the majority of the states in a watch, like, that's probably the main state that I'm not as concerned about. It's probably mainly hail and damaging winds. Brian, typically. Not all the time, though. They sometimes vary. Here's the rotation on this cell, and it's really not even matching up with the reflectivity. So looks like this cell again has a possibility for an isolated tornado, but it has definitely gone down a little bit as well. So good news there. A lot of good news. Bad news is we still have a tennis ball sized hailstorm east of Dallas, which I don't know if this is still producing tennis ball sized hail. We've got no reports in Kaufman yet, but I wouldn't rule out there's something in the range of tennis ball sized hail near Kaufman or Oak Grove. Maybe, but I doubt it. And the storm near Rosebud here. I don't think we have a whole lot of anything going on here. More of a wind threat. Still have a tornado warning ongoing. How long? Yeah, it's been going for about an hour. That's crazy. This tornado warning, it's felt much longer, but it's been a storm that's been very slow moving. So it has felt like a very long tornado warning. But it has not been doing much ever since it crossed Interstate 35W. There was a brief funnel cloud, and that was about it. Oh, yeah, the overall threat is definitely going down here. How's Chicago looking? I think the main threat for Chicago will be damaging winds and hail. I don't really foresee a whole lot of a tornado risk there. I know there's a tornado watch, I get it. But I just don't see a whole lot of a tornado risk there. The cells have not been really maintaining their intensity very well over the last hour. They've been weakening a bit. Overall, we have some cells west of the suburbs that are still ongoing, but a lot of these are not very strong. And even the ones in Wisconsin, and honestly, Wisconsin was one state that I was kind of surprised they were into a tornado watch. There's not a whole lot of activity up here. A lot of the cells have been weak, if not non-existent. The only cell that has any chance of probably being severe here is the one here near Lake Geneva. But otherwise, let's take a look real quick at not the temperatures, the dew points. There's still some humidity back out to the west. I wouldn't rely on like an isolated storm developing, but I think this is also delayed. But yeah, I think overall the environment is not really ripe enough for really any significant tornado risk here in the Midwest. The only cells that have that really, in my opinion, the only storms that probably have a chance of that would be anything in this area that has a chance. I don't think really any of the storms up in Wisconsin have a chance of a tornado risk. There might be an isolated one, but I'm saying, my opinion, I don't think there will be one. The only area that I think that there could be some sort of risk of a tornado in the next like hour or two is in this white circled area, and even then, I still think it's a very low risk. I think the main storm that we've been watching south of DeKalb, this is south of Interstate 88, this little cell, it doesn't look very impressive, but it actually has some rotation. So this could be something to watch for, but even then, it has to organize itself. It's not a very organized cell right now. This is the rotation. It's again, very broad, so. Yeah, I think the Chicago suburbs and all that, mainly just hail and damaging winds for the main threat. There might be an isolated tornado, but yeah, I'm not seeing anything too crazy there. Friendly reminder, if you're just tuning in for the first time, like the stream. Helps get this out to more people. Also, make sure to subscribe down below. And also, if you've been enjoying the content, or the forecast, or whatever, so far, and you want to support the page above and beyond, you become a member for as little as $2.99 a month. You can click the join button down below, or click the top link in the description. I would appreciate it. I've been live for I do live streams all the time, and obviously this has been kind of a longer one. I usually don't go live for that much longer than 3 hours, at least right now, because I don't have an office chair, and plus I'm in college, so it's pretty difficult, but we're still live. I'll be live at least for a little bit longer, see if anything kind of develops in the Midwest in the next little while. But I think the storms overall, like if we go kind of wide view of everything, I mean, we have like one cluster of storms near just south of Springfield. We have another one west of St. Louis. This will be mainly just gusty winds and small hail. I don't expect much severe weather there. A lot of rain across southeast Missouri, not very concerning. And even Arkansas, just a lot of rain, maybe an isolated severe storm. And then we also have, again, these storms back down in North Texas and as well as anywhere in Texas. These ones still have some concern, but I think a lot of these are not going to be too bad over the next hour or two. Really, it's peaking. If not, we're starting to go on the downtrend a little bit. The peak of severe weather was really around now, if not like an hour ago. So that's been kind of our peak time frame, which is why I went live kind of a bit earlier. But this storm here is down to hen egg sized hail. We had ping pong ball sized hail reported in Kaufman. So there's still some large hail falling in Kaufman, but it's definitely becoming a little bit less in that area. Real quick, I need to post a new report here. Illinois will be fine, trust me. You guys will be fine. If you're in Illinois, anywhere up in Illinois or the Midwest, you'll be fine tonight. It's just hail and damaging winds. After that, things will be clearing out. In the next severe weather event, by the way, I haven't mentioned this yet. I'll have a forecast probably tomorrow or the next day. We'll see. But we do have a slight risk of severe weather, believe it or not, for like Texas going into next week. This is for Tuesday. So there's already a slight risk of severe weather. This next trough that we're going to have is going to be interesting. We'll have to see how it plays out, but this could be an interesting severe weather event. Be across the southern plains, mainly in Texas. That threat could also go a bit further to the north, so there's a chance that happens as well. But yeah, interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. I'll talk about that in our next forecast, though, because I don't have all the details combined yet, and also we're still very far out from that. It's only Wednesday, so we got about a week. Tornado warning still ongoing for Marlin and Law for the next few minutes, but this is again a storm that is weakening. No tornado. I don't know if this has been canceled. I don't think it has. It hasn't been canceled, but I still think this storm is pretty much done with the tornado risk. The outflow boundary is really picking up a lot of these showers and storms here, so flooding will become a concern. The storms near DFW are the ones I still think have a bit more of a concern, because this one here near Kaufman County, it is still producing the threat for some hail and damaging winds, and it's a bit more discreet, so any of the discrete cells will have a better chance of a severe weather threat. But overall, a lot of showers and storms. Most of them are not severe. And back up near Chicago, still have a chance for an isolated tornado in the next hour or two, but the threat is going down. Still some very broad rotation near Hinckley, north of Sandwich, but the threat again is decreasing, which is good news. Thank you, Michael, for becoming a Tornado Chaser member. I appreciate it. Thank you. Welcome to the Tornado Chaser membership. I need to change my members' names. I hate saying the Chaser name because it just sounds like I'm talking to an actual Storm Chaser. when I say Storm Chaser member, people are like, "Oh, you have a Storm Chaser?" I'm like, "Nope, I don't. It's just how I name members." I gotta change it though. I think I'm gonna change it to something to do with velocities. Oh, we have a video out of Killeen, Texas. Let me show you guys this. We have a video out of Killeen, Texas of a hailstorm. A lot of smaller hail, it looks like. A lot of rain, at least. I don't see a whole lot of hail here. This is close to Highway 190. Yeah, it looks like a lot of rain. Maybe some small hail falling there. A little bit of lightning. Solid stuff. That was out of Killeen. But nothing too crazy. I think the Killeen area had more of a hail threat, though. Let me just double check. So, I think the person commented. Yeah, some crazy hail, they said, but it doesn't seem too crazy. But I appreciate you sending that in. A little bit of hail. All right, let's go back over to this storm near Elgin. Let's actually go to the velocities again. Yeah, it's more of a wind threat. I know this storm near Elgin looks pretty scary on radar, but this is definitely more of a hail threat. Not any, like, there's some wind, but there's no rotation in the cell at this given time near the surface, so that means there's not really any tornado threat right now. But yeah, if you're near the Elgin area, just make sure you're staying away from windows as the hailstorm approaches. $half sized hail is possible there. We do have a brand new severe thunderstorm warning as well for Highland Park, McHenry, Crystal Lake, Monargo as well. All these areas included for damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour in quarter-sized hail. Now, for anybody in the Midwest, again, main threat's hail and damaging winds. I do think the severe weather, again, is not going to be nearly as bad as it has been for the last few hours. The last few hours is really the peak of severe weather. For those in central and southern Illinois, that includes like Lincoln, Illinois, and southwards, back through southeast Missouri, marginal severe weather threat will continue for the next few hours. That's from the Storm Prediction Center on their latest mesoscale discussion, and I completely agree with that. I do think that that area entirely is really more in the sort of realm of a more of a marginal threat of severe weather. I said that earlier too, so I think that's kind of been pretty much on line with what's happened today. Even though they're under a slight risk of severe weather, I think it's more marginal. No new reports on the storms, though, which is good news. All right. Next radar scan's coming in right now. We'll check and see if any of these storms are rotating. But again, I don't think really any rotations ongoing with these cells right now. Rotation's definitely kind of been weakening with most of any of the cells that we've had. Shear is kind of peaking, though. I mean, right now, this would be a good time for a tornado, but cells overall just have been struggling to really become discrete. A lot of these cells are close to getting to each other. Discrete cells are really what we need to be seeing for a tornado risk today. We're not seeing really any of those. This is much more clustered together than what was forecasted. So it's keeping the tornado risk a bit lower, which is good stuff. But obviously the damaging wind and hail threat has been maximized with that sort of setup. Storms north of Bloomington are weakening. These cells near the Chicago area or the Chicago suburbs are the ones that are, again, the most concerning here over the next hour for this area. We might get some rotation on the cell near Elgin. Let me just circle this area. So this is your hail. Got a little hook trying to develop. I'm just going to circle this area here. I don't think there's any rotation in that particular spot. Yeah, there's no rotation there, but more of a wind threat. But we definitely have a hail core, that's for sure. Near Elgin, south of Interstate 90. And the cell near Hinckley is also starting to weaken, it looks like. There was a little bit of rotation at one point, but again, overall, the storms here are just struggling to become discrete. And this is also passing through some sinking air, which is going to cause some issues with these updrafts staying, high for a while. The height of the storms is going to be lower in that sort of regard. Tornado warning, by the way, officially expired. Let me take off all the tornado warnings. We have none anymore. The tornado warning has expired back down here in North Texas, and we are now under 20 warnings for the first time in, at least 2 hours. First time for everything. Still have some hail and damaging winds crossing through Temple, Texas, near Rosebud and Killeen. And this will be eventually going towards Cameron and Bartlett over the next little while. Bartlett will probably get damaging winds around 60, maybe ping pong ball sized hail at the maximum. We have another hail report out of Kaufman County of $half sized hail as well. So we've had some varying reports there, but regardless, we're still looking at some large hail going towards Wills Point and Canton, Texas. Kaufman County will be done with the storm in about half an hour. This has been a slow rolling storm at this point. All right, we'll stay up here in the Midwest for a few minutes, and I'll see what happens. If you have any questions, feel free to leave those in the chat. I'll be answering a few here. And, yeah, again, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and like the stream. If you've been enjoying the content, you can become a member for as little as $2.99 a month. That's how you can support my page. Click the link, the top link in the description if you want to become a member. You can also click the join button when enjoying the stream. Would appreciate all the new members. We are up to 120 members now. Appreciate all the members. Yeah, a lot of the showers and storms out there right now are ordinary storms. The ones that we're looking at here, the one near Hinckley has been weakening. It's more of an ordinary cell now. The one up here near Elgin is a bit more severe. It's probably $quarter to $half sized hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. The cells near Union are more ordinary as well. The cell up into Wisconsin is really ordinary. And also, the tornado watch is no longer ongoing for Madison, Baraboo, any of those areas. You're no longer included. I honestly think Wisconsin was kind of a stretch, in my opinion, for a tornado watch to begin with. But, obviously, we're now seeing that kind of being factual, because there's really not been any crazy storms here. We had one cell enter into Wisconsin, and that was it. Actually, technically two now, but the first one that raced into Wisconsin was very brief. Produced a very quick hail threat, I think, but that was it. And the most recent cell is weakened very quickly. So, also the temperatures. Let's check that out real quick. Actually, let's do METAR data. Temperatures are a little interesting feature here. So yeah, temperatures are primed for severe weather. I mean, we're talking upper 60s, low 70s. Even here near Chicago, they're actually closer to 80 near Chicago right now. So it's more primed for severe weather there. But yeah, I'm not sure exactly what the reasoning behind storms not forming up in Wisconsin was. I have not really done a whole lot of research on Wisconsin per se, because the temperatures are there. There's dew points. I'm not sure if there's enough instability, though. That's probably why. The instability values are lower the further north you go. But I'll have to double check. I haven't really looked too far into that. Oops. Let's go to the velocities again on this cell. And wind is still ongoing near Elgin. This is an intense-looking supercell, but overall the rotation's very minimal, and it's not really rotating where it needs to be for a tornado risk in the short term. But again, we might see something on the long term as it moves off to the north and east. Areas in the track of this would be like Killdeer, maybe close to Highland Park, but it will probably be going more in this direction. So this will avoid Chicago. The storms that might impact Chicago or even the suburbs down near Elmhurst, Oak Lawn, Chicago, Tinley Park will be these cells down here. And overall, there's only one cell that's actually severe. That's west of Interstate 55. That's Long Point, Cornell, and Ransom. But overall, again, storms are definitely weaker than before. Hail and Elgin, thank you for the report, Graphite. There's definitely some hail there. I'm not sure what size. It's probably around quarter sized, would be my guess. Maybe $half size. We've seen hail cores like this earlier that were, much higher. We've seen upwards of tennis ball sized hail with hail cores like this, but still think it's kind of on the lower side of things. Is Greenville done? Greenville is, I think, done. Let me double check. Guessing you're talking about Texas. Greenville's kind of on the cusp of that dry line. Greenville will be done here soon. I mean, you're done with severe weather. There's going to be a few showers, maybe an isolated storm behind this dry line in North Texas, but otherwise you're pretty much done. Severe weather is winding. It's not winding down, but it's definitely much more marginal or more isolated right now across Texas. Also, we do have a little cell developing over Chicago. Little shower, a little baby shower happening. Anybody get invited to the baby shower? It's actually more of a baby storm, but little storm formed there near Chicago. Hail cores there. That's again, this is like our only severe storm right now. Is honestly this one near Elgin. That's like the only one that's actually severe. Elsewhere around the Midwest, we're pretty much we're not done, but we're definitely on the lower scale here of severe weather. It's going to remain much more isolated. We have another cell here south of Interstate 80 that's also, again, producing some hail and damaging winds. That'll be tracking probably toward Chicago. If we put it on a little 1 hour loop here, you'll see the storms in motion. We'll kind of notice where these storms are actually heading. Little Rock, Arkansas. Anything to watch? Just rain, pretty much. Maybe some isolated damaging winds, maybe a little bit of isolated hail, but the threat in Arkansas, I honestly think it was probably going to be the lowest today. A lot of rain more than anything. So if anything, I'd be watching out for like a flash flooding concern, but that'd be about it. Hydro, you're good. Nothing's happening there. Maybe just some rain. Isolated thunderstorm. I don't really anticipate much severe weather in Wisconsin. Ohio gonna get anything serious? Ohio probably will not get anything serious today. Tomorrow, there's a low chance of severe weather, but even then, I think it's a low risk. Like, when I say low risk, I mean, like, very low risk. You might see isolated gusty winds or hail. That's about it. No problem, Erica. I try to answer questions as much as possible. We have 1,500 viewers, so it's a little bit harder, but we also had tornado warnings earlier, which makes things more complicated. But luckily, it's all severe thunderstorm warnings. Alright. No problem, Hydra. We do have a new report of nickel-sized hail out of Metamora, Illinois. That's actually the storm back over here. I think that's a delayed report, though. No, actually, it's not. So, storm back over near Metamora. There's some, like, small dents to vehicles. Possibly up to quarter-sized hail, but nickel-sized hail is near Metamora. That's the cell that's approaching Interstate 55. I'll be going towards Gillette here pretty soon. And this is the live radar, by the way. So let's just quickly look at the live radar. And we have a large hail core near Elgin in the suburbs of Chicago. The storm, again, is not rotating, at least near the surface. But there's definitely some hail here. It's probably in the range of quarter to $half size hail. I don't think we've had any actual confirmation of hail here yet, but there's definitely some hail falling near Elgin. Somewhere in the ballpark of quarter to $half size. A friendly reminder, if you're just tuning in for the first time, make sure to subscribe down below, like the stream. Subscribing gives you benefits to being able to watch other forecasts and live streams on the channel. You can chat in the chat room, ask questions, and all that sort of stuff. We're up to ping pong ball size hail now in this warning near Elgin. So that hail core now is up to ping pong ball size. Which, again, is it actually that large? I don't know. It's probably somewhere in the ballpark of quarter to $half size. We've had, again, no reports here, but that's kind of my guesstimation. No tornado risk right now with that cell, though. Waco just got hammered. Waco did get hammered. Yeah, anywhere just south of Waco, especially. They got a lot of rain and a lot of lightning and a lot of wind as well. There's some crazy storms down there. Crazy, crazy, crazy storms. Nothing crazy in terms of severe weather. I'm just saying in general, like, they were pretty nasty storms that are producing a lot of lightning. Sounds good, Brian. By the way, I'm gonna just spoil something a little bit here. I mentioned this a couple of times, very, like, you know, broad. But I do want to mention there is a chance in the near future that I'm working with Reed Timmer. Possibly. With him. Not, like, for him, but, like, with him. On his live streams. So stay tuned. It's a little teaser. I might. It's not guaranteed. It's been coming up a little bit, so I'll keep you posted. I might be. Yes, I might. I might be doing radar breakdowns on his live streams. Like, that's, like, the main thing. So it might happen. It might not. I don't know. We'll see. I was contacted by him about it, so pretty excited for it if I do. But yeah, that's a possibility. Not guaranteed, though. I only told, like, a few people. I haven't really made it public, but it's possible. I've kept it pretty secret because, like, I don't know if it's going to happen. So, you know, don't get your hopes up, but it might. It might. We'll see. Reed will bring the extreme. Man, if I was doing his radar breakdown on last night's live stream, that would have been perfect. Last night was absolutely crazy. But obviously, I couldn't even go live last night to begin with. I realized I had a essay paper due. But this summer is when you could probably look out for that. This summer, I'll have a lot of things happening. Like this summer, I'll have a green screen, so I'll be trying to set that up and try to use it on my live streams a bit. Not the entire time, but just for, like, little snippets. I'll be using the green screen. But yeah, there's some stuff coming this summer. A lot of stuff. So, that's just one of it. Multiple things. We'll see what happens. But yeah, honestly, the only problem is, like, right now, like, I don't know when it would actually start, because in the first, like, 2 weeks of May, or even the first 3 weeks of May, I am so busy. Like, I will not have any time to really do live streams. I'll have, like, a very minimal time for part of the first 3 weeks of May, but that's it. And then I have also, second week of June, I am not going to probably have any live streams. So, it's going to be busy. That's the only problem right now. I basically have a bunch of different small trips during May and June. So, yep. Good times. Probably the worst time of the year to book it, to be honest, because I was thinking about doing stuff in August, but, like, it just doesn't match up, so. Yeah, it's peak severe weather season, so, I mean, there's only so much I can do about it. There's a chance I can do live streams for the first couple days of May, but, like, elsewhere, it's kind of busy. But if there's any, like, significant severe weather events, there are plenty of people live for it anyways, so no big problem there. I'll try to have some video forecasts at the bare minimum, but even then, I don't know how many of those I'll have. But it'll be nice, honestly, because for those that have been here for, like, a year, I've not, like, taken any time off from doing weather at all, like, ever. Like, I hardly take a day off from doing weather on both YouTube or Facebook. Like, I'm always doing weather every day, so having a good couple of weeks off is nice. It's probably at the worst time of the year, honestly, for severe weather, but I need it at some point. I really do. It's been a very busy year, and not just that, I also am in college, so it makes things 50 times more busy. Oh, it's much needed break. Anything for North Dallas? I was about to yell it, but about to yell that in my room now. No, North Dallas is fine. Isolated shower, storm tonight, but that's about it. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, when Reed Timmer mentioned, like, you know, do you want to help with radar breakdowns? It's like 100%. Like, you know, I'm on the same mission as he is. Like, you know, there's a lot of weather hype in this space, and, you know, all that sort of stuff. And I think he does a phenomenal job at just keeping things real. That's kind of what I'm trying to aim for with my weather anyways. So I think it's a perfect little duo that we can have. But yeah, we will see. No guarantees. I am very hopeful, though, that it happens. He actually, funny enough, he contacted me about it. I didn't contact him about it. So it kind of just came about, which is pretty cool. He's like, your voice is golden, man. I was like, I appreciate it. I do talk pretty fast, though. Mainly during tornado warnings. But I have a lot of energy. I don't have a whole lot of energy now. I've wasted all the energy for talking about tornado warnings for like 3 hours. There's a lot of storms at that point. A couple updates on the storms in North Texas. We do have a new severe warning for Hillsborough for quarter-sized hail, and another one near Canton. That's for ping pong ball-sized hail. Both of those storms are not very concerning at this point. We also have a small little cell in Denton County. This is not severe, but it is producing maybe some small hail. Actually, we have a live cam. Let me check that out. This is the live cam out of Lantana. I cannot see that storm yet, but if you look to the right side of your screen, that is where that little cell will be visible. So I'll pull it back up once we get closer. But we might be able to see it. Little baby cell. Where's Lantana? By the way, for those that don't know, Lantana is right about, it's like right here near Corinth. So we're looking north, so we might be able to see it on the right side of the screen. So we'll see if we can see it. No guarantees, but might be able to see it. I was hoping to use that live cam today. We have somebody gave me their live cam to use on live streams and stuff out of DFW, and it's actually a pretty good live cam, especially when storms are ongoing near like the Red River or just to the west of Denton County. So Virginia, he said that, you know, he'll be paid, of course. So yeah, I would obviously get paid for it, but like, I don't really care much about the money. I honestly don't care about the money to begin with on any of this stuff. Like, I really don't. I just love doing it. As long as I have enough money to just, you know, eat and go to college, I'm good. That's about it. I really don't care otherwise. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. Aurora, where is Aurora again? Aurora's down here, isn't it? Yeah, Aurora's here. Just ordinary thunderstorm, that's it. No severe weather there. The only severe storm that I'm actually concerned about right now is the one near Arlington Heights. That's around ping pong ball sized hail. Elsewhere, it's pretty minimal storm activity here in the Midwest. Patricia, I'm talking about reed timber. Report out of Batavia, Illinois. 60, 70 mile per hour winds were just reported out of that area. They're not measured, they're just reported. So maybe around 60 to 70 miles per hour out of Batavia. And also back up near Woodstock in McHenry, Illinois, McHenry County, excuse me. Emergency manager reported 58 mile per hour wind gusts near Woodstock. That is also another report that we have out of that area. Illinois, or not Illinois, Louisiana has a very low risk of any tornado risks today. I don't know how to say your name, why, but Elgin should be fine after like 7 o'clock, so about an hour from now. Yeah, I was watching Reed's live stream. I wasn't able to go live, so I watched his live stream like the entire time, and it was insane how close he got to that tornado. It was crazy. It was literally right in the perfect position for that. Or not, I wouldn't say perfect, but he was like in a really good position to actually be like that close to that tornado. Indiana has a extremely low to 0 tornado risk tonight. I'm not concerned about that area for a tornado risk. Yeah, Jordan. Honestly, Elgin should be fine after 7. At the latest. All the sinking air is kind of filtering in now, so there might be, let me just double check. I don't think we'll see anything else after this line, but I'm going to double check. There might be some other convection, potentially. Let me just check, though. No, yeah, so you're done after that. And, like, yeah, 7 o'clock, pretty much you're done after 7 o'clock. There might still be a storm in the area, so just be, you know, mindful of that. Stay away from windows, and if there's any lightning or anything like that, or if you hear thunder, you should go back indoors just for a little while. Just make sure it passes. Thank you, DK, for the $10 super chat. Good luck with the potential retimmer. Yeah, it'll be awesome, honestly, if that works out. It'll be awesome. I'm hopeful, but again, we'll see. Like, it's not like an instant, like, within the next week thing. It'll probably be like a good couple weeks at least. Because yeah, the next like 2 week, or not even 2 weeks. What's that? The 20th? So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, the next 3 weeks for me are super busy. Then I have a little break, and then I'm back to another busy like weekend. But Yeah, but May's busy for me, but we'll make it work. Tornado watch has now been condensed, so for those in Rockford, you're no longer included. Basically, anybody that's not seen any storm activity yet, or if you're back to the west, if you've already seen storm activity, excuse me, you're done from any tornado risk or really any severe weather tonight. So things are winding down. Great news. I love spreading good news. We have good news. It's all winding down. At least in the Midwest. The southern plains are a bit of a different story. Severe weather will continue for the next several hours with multiple storms producing some large hail. None of which are significant, but we are still looking at some storms around, you know, at least like, I would say marginal threat, but like, I mean, as in like, you know, 60-mile-per-hour winds and change-sized hail. The only storm that's above pocket change-sized hail is the one southeast now, or in Kaufman County still, that's producing ping-pong ball-sized hail. Yeah, a lot of the storms have now kind of started to weaken out, which is good. Good stuff. The winds are not winding down. The winds will be one of the things that will not be winding down. Yeah, North Texas especially. The wind is just going to continue. Tomorrow it should be a little bit better. After this front kind of moves through. Real quick, I do this with like every live stream that I have over like 3 hours. I do this, so let's go and do this real quick. This is the 6-hour loop on the infrared imagery. It's pretty cool to see all the storms just explode. I'm gonna take off all the watches and stuff too, so you don't have to look at all that stuff. But this is a 6-hour loop of all the severe weather that we've seen today. It's kind of cool to look at after a stream. So if you want to kind of watch it, take a little screen recording or whatever. Let me take off the hail reports too. I don't know where you take off hail reports anymore on the software. There it is. Yeah, so it's pretty cool to look at this. I mean, like honestly, the entire system here, it's pretty fascinating to see all the storms just fire up. The ones that are, you can also see the ones that like kind of sit down here in just south of Dallas. Upper level winds obviously a bit weaker down there. We have outflow boundaries, so pretty cool stuff though. You see how fast the storms up here in the Midwest move. Look how fast those ones are moving. They're moving so much faster. Down here in Texas, it's much slower moving. So, yes, Wyatt. How's it going, bro? Yeah, I'm starving. I haven't eaten at all, so. And there's not anything like that significant right now, so. I need to get some food. Yeah. Pretty cool stuff. Pretty fascinating. I do want to take a quick video capture of this. Yes, I know I'm recording already, but I'm still going to do this. Or I'm live, technically. Just want to get a quick little capture of this. Post it on Twitter real quick. Solid quality. Let's go with that. All right. I'm going to post this on Twitter real quick. And if you want to check out my Twitter, by the way, and check out that video clip, feel free to go to it on at MaxVelocityWX on Twitter. The link's also in the description. All right, cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. Yeah, it's pretty fascinating to see after a severe weather event like this, or any severe weather event in general. Pretty cool. Let's go back up to here. We do have a new warning just to the south of Gillette for Wilmington. Morris, this is for quarter-sized hail, 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. And not too concerning, but it is a little cell there. But yeah, that's about it. It's the latest warning there. The other cell back up here is weakening near Arlington Heights. It's still producing some hail, but it's not as strong as before. So that cell will be weakening here over the next little while. A lot of rain, a little bit of severe weather still, but that's about it. Just a little bit of hail. I'm trying to upload the video here to Twitter. Uploading videos to Twitter is like the most painful thing ever. Like sometimes it just doesn't work sometimes. It says processing 99% and it just doesn't process. Good times. Yeah, tornado watch is still ongoing, but honestly, I think the tornado risk is pretty low at this point. If not zero. Any of the cells right here along the Great Lakes are going to be weakening out. At Wind Lake, there's some wind in Wisconsin. Little baby hook, but again, not concerned about it. Not too concerned about it. Shear's been pretty... I don't think the shear's been really that weak today. I think it's just more of the cells are not discrete enough for rotating. Can you tell me something good about Illinois? Honestly, I've never been to Illinois before, so I don't know if I can tell you anything good about it. Not gonna lie, I've never been there. Isn't there the Big Bean? Isn't that in Chicago? I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure there's the Big Bean. Correct me if I'm wrong. Big Bean, alright, cool. I at least got that right. It's like the only thing I know about Illinois. Honestly, Illinois is a huge state. I know nothing about it. Like, in terms of, like, you know, what it actually has. Any good food in Illinois? Oh, Chicago-style pizza. I've heard of that. Education of states is it's lacking here. The bean is overrated. Yeah, I mean, if somebody really just takes a flight just to go see that bean, I don't know. I just wouldn't. Personally, I would not go just to see the Big Bean. The Chicago Bulls, I know about sports teams there. That's about it. I really don't know much about Illinois. Believe it or not. You need a spoon to eat the pizza? You really? Our tacos in Chicago go crazy? Do they? Thank you, Emily, for the $10 super chat. I appreciate it. Well, we have tornadoes north of... Why'd you have to give me the hardest name to pronounce ever? North of there. No, I highly doubt you'll see anything tonight. Tonight, I'm talking about tonight. You should be good. Yeah, and tornado risk is subsiding here across Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin's done. Again, I wouldn't really like something quick, but even then, it's a low chance. Thank you again for the generous $10 super chat. I appreciate it. Appreciate all the super chats, the new members today. Appreciate all of you. Also, a couple of new wind reports out of DuPage, excuse me, airport. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts ongoing there near Aurora, so some flights might be delayed here for a little while. Sheboygan, thank you. Sheboygan, I don't know, something like that. Lived in Illinois for 35 years and it's garbage of the highest order. All right. Yeah, I mean, honestly, people, I mean, everybody has different tastes, right? Like, you know. It's a thing. All right, let's see. We're down to 16 severe thunderstorm warnings. We still have a lot of warnings. The ones in Chicago, or in the Midwest, which is 4 of them, are going to be ending here pretty soon. We have one little isolated warning in southern Missouri. We have a bunch in Texas. Texas has been the main focus at this point. But honestly, a lot of these storms are not going to be that impressive. They're really just mainly hail and damaging winds. There's not really any tornado risk here. It's very low for a tornado risk, but the severe weather is winding down. So, yeah, again, I'm not going to probably be live here for too much longer. It's been pretty much weakening stuff. Hear thunder in San Antonio. Yeah, San Antonio will get hit by storms here pretty soon. You have a taste for taxes? Illinois is outstanding. I just paid my taxes the other day. Good times. Anything in Indiana give me intense? I've had a lot of questions about Indiana. I am not concerned about really anything in Indiana. I'm not sure why. Like, Indiana's like, I get it. Severe weather's nearby and whatnot, but like, I'll be real. I'm not concerned about Illinois, like, at all. There might be an isolated storm that's severe, but again, I'm really not too concerned about Illinois. Maybe some isolated damaging winds. That's about it. I don't know why, but on Twitter, I keep getting 99% processing. It doesn't go to 100%. I'm trying to upload a video here for like the last 10 minutes. Main threat there, Bowser will be quarter-sized tail. Check Discord. I'll look in a second. Let me just real quickly. I need to take a photo of me hitting 50,000 subscribers. Unfortunately, I never did get a photo when it first happened, but we were under there was multiple tornado warnings, so there's a reason. I'm gonna post this to Twitter. I didn't really have much of a reaction to 50,000, but honestly, I don't know how to react anymore to these. It's kind of crazy, but. All right, that is now posted on Twitter in 3, 2, no, I didn't find that. All right. All right, if you want to check out the tweet, I'll post it in chat, but it's not anything really special. I don't know how to react anymore. It's kind of like, it's crazy, but like, you know, during a tornado warning, it's kind of hard. Like, I hit it during a tornado warning, that was the problem. So I kind of already knew. Then there was tornado warning, so lots of crazy stuff. Beautiful out in Chicago. Yeah, some areas of Chicago aren't seeing much of any severe weather, so some areas are having it good, some other areas are just having it really not good at all. Alrighty, well, I'm gonna end the live stream there. I do appreciate everybody tuning in. I gotta get dinner, and honestly, the severe weather again is winding down. Just have a way to receive alerts tonight. You'll be fine. Midwest especially, you're winding down in the next hour. If you're back down to the south, you will be watching still for hail and damaging winds. Isolated tornadoes not impossible, but the threat of severe weather is winding down, so there's no reason to panic. Again, I've been live for 4 hours, and I have I need to get food. I'm starving. So appreciate everybody tuning in. Thank you all for the super chats, new members, all that sort of stuff. And again, if you want to become a member, you can click the link at the top of the description. Helps my page out a lot. I would really appreciate it. But elsewise, that's not a word. But anyways, I appreciate you tuning in. Have a great, safe rest of your night. Thank you guys again for the 50,000 subscriber milestone. It's absolutely remarkable. Would have never thought. I will probably have a video forecast tomorrow. If not, I'll have one on Saturday. So stay tuned for that. Have a great night. And thank you guys all again for tuning in. I appreciate it. See you guys all again soon, and stay safe tonight. Have